There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. What's up, bud? How you doing, bud? Oof. I'm so tired. What's going on, Mika? Welcome in. Give me a second, y'all. What's going on, Mika? Welcome in. Give me a second, y'all. We're in the building. All right, bro. Take your time. Good morning, everybody coming in. If y'all can, please share out the live. Let's get to like 50 shares today. If we can get to like 50 shares. Oh, take your time. Take your time. Take your time. No rush. No rush. Hold on. No rush. No rush. No rush. No rush. No rush. Oh, I told you I was gonna be tired this morning. Coach Tanya be in the building. I see you. I see you. I see you. How's everybody doing? We had a party last night. I'm telling you, it was a party last night. If you wasn't in Coach Derek's live last night, you missed it all. Okay. I feel like we shut TikTok down last night. We had such a great time. We had such a great time. I'm still exhausted from last night. I ain't gonna lie to you. Derek was tearing it up, dancing it up. We had a blast. We had a blast. We really did. We really did. Listen, I ain't do too bad as a young whippersnapper. I'm just saying. I ain't do too bad with my 2 gray hairs. I ain't do too bad with my 2 gray hairs, Al. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that everybody had fun. I know I did. I know I did. Thank you for the homie. I appreciate you. So today, we're gonna be talking about the attachment styles and relationships, romantic relationships. I know we talked about the friends and family 2 Saturdays ago, but we're gonna be talking about the romantic relationship aspect. So if you are a part of the Discord, I gotta ask, did you take that attachment style quiz? Did y'all take your attachment style quiz yet? If you are a part of the Discord, I put it in the resources. Have you guys taken y'all quiz yet to see what attachment style you have? Cosmic, welcome in. You did? Okay, cool. Cause I got a little game that we're gonna play later. Hello, Cosmic, how are you? I got a little game that we're gonna play later. A little later in the day, a little later in the live. So, you have taken it? Okay, cool. Got you. Okay. I got to keep asking that question because I want to see how many people have taken it since the last live that we did. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple questions, right? And it's simple questions too, but depending on how you respond to it, kind of dictates what your attachment style is. So I put together 5 questions. Good morning, Kiwi. I put together 5 questions. And thank you for the heart buff. And depending on how you answer it, dictates the attachment style. It's kind of similar to the thing I did with the procrastination live. You guys probably weren't a part of that live, but I did the whole live on procrastination. Me and Hormiga, we did a whole live on procrastination, and I asked certain certain questions on what people could procrastinate about. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I created I had like questionnaires or like certain things that people usually procrastinate about, and I said, if this is you, either raise your hand or put a 100 in the chat. And I think we had like 60, 70 people in that live. And about 60 or 70 people raised their hand for each question or each comment on what you could possibly procrastinate. It was wild. I even had Hormiga stumped in that live. I threw everybody off with that questionnaire. I thought it was interesting, though. I thought it was dope. Hormiga, welcome in, bro. I thought it was dope. I thought it was interesting. So I want to see if I can do it again and kind of throw people off a little bit. And this is related to relationships. So, but people that are not in relationships who also answer the question kind of dictates on how you are as a person, right? So, but if y'all can rate your mental 1 to 10, hit the clipboard right here where my fingers at. You see right there. So Frito, welcome in. What's going on, brother man?
Putting on my shirt.
Over here showing the taco meat, huh?
Hey. Hey, don't start. It's too early for that, bro.
Listen,
I got a long day today.
I believe it. We do too. We do too.
Good morning. Good morning.
We got laundry and we got a party to go to later. So
I got an awards presentation today, so you already know that's gonna be lit. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know who this person is trying to come up, but yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So Frito, good morning, man. How you doing? So you remember the whole procrastination thing that we did, the live that we did?
How could I forget?
I kind of set up the same kind of thing, right? The questionnaire.
I never got more DMs in my life.
I gotta find that episode. So I can post it.
You should have an extreme amount of nice clips from that. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I got the full episode downloaded on my laptop. I just gotta clip it and just post it. It was interesting. I thought it was probably one of the best lives that we did because I've never seen 70 plus people procrastinate so much. I'm just saying. It was interesting. I thought it was dope. I thought it was an interesting experience. Listen, whenever I can get Hormiga stumped a little bit, my day is full of progress because it's very hard to do that.
Well, the funny thing about procrastination is that we all do it, right?
Absolutely.
And what people don't know is that procrastination is necessary sometimes. Sometimes you need to procrastinate. Sometimes you need to take a pause before you make a move.
Right. But is that procrastination though? It's just you taking a pause.
It's a pun on words.
Right.
Any time you see, I guess it's the intention behind it that changes the word. Like, what are your intentions?
Right.
But the English language, people are gonna hate me for this. The English language was created to confuse you. It's not a native language. It's not a real language. It's a stolen language that's created from many other languages, and it was created in a way to determine where you're from.
Oh, Sky, welcome in.
Where you from? Where were you educated? What part of the United States are you from? And people are like, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because I can tell if it wasn't like that, then you wouldn't know that somebody's from New York. You wouldn't know that somebody's from Cali just by the way they speak. You wouldn't know that somebody's from the South just by the way they speak. So imagine taking it a step further and looking at the actual words that people use.
No, I agree.
So, and I only said that to warn people. Don't get carried away with the word game. Because just because somebody speaks eloquently, just because somebody knows how to articulate, how to pronounce and enunciate a word, doesn't mean that they know what the hell they're talking about. They're just good at talking shit.
Very much so.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
And we starting, guys, and we starting. Listen, good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody coming.
Good morning, sweets. Let's go.
Welcome into the Monumental Podcast.
I'm waiting for Venus.
Oh, listen, we're gonna have a good panel today.
I'm waiting. Look, I got Venus right here.
I'm gonna enjoy this live so much because I think even though we've had conversations about this, even though the topic has been spoken about with one of our amazing coaches, our relationship gumbo on his platform, I want to see what we can come up with all three of us combined.
I got my notes.
Let's get it going. 2 weeks ago, we started the conversation of attachment styles with, can somebody mute that, please?
You don't need this anymore?
No. Can you? No.
I can throw it away?
Yeah. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know what's going on over there.
You got a different background. Let me find out.
Yeah, I decided to keep the random background. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. So 2 weeks ago we started a conversation of attachment styles, but we geared it towards the friends and the family. And I think it was an amazing conversation because it was very true and transparent. Not only with you guys in the comments, which you guys in the comments was amazing, but the coaches coming up and speaking about their attachment styles, all of us doing it together. I thought that showed you guys how human we are. You know what I'm saying? On top of us being able to assist and help you guys in your process and giving you the tips and tricks that's needed. You know what I'm saying? The one thing that we stress for you guys to understand is that even though we are doing this and this is our profession, we are human. You know what I'm saying? We also have attachment styles. Even though we're able to navigate it better, right? Because we've experienced it, we know what it looks like. We're able to navigate it better. Doesn't mean that we don't have one. Just saying, right? Doesn't mean that we don't have one. But it becomes a whole different dynamic when relationships are involved. It's one thing to have an attachment style on your own and it's just you. But when you're in a whole relationship, yeah, that comes a little bit different, right? So for all my people that are in the Discord, if you are in the Discord, I want to know have you taken your attachment style quiz? Like, I know Mika said that she took it, and then Tanya said that she took it. Anybody else that's a part of the Discord, have you guys taken your attachment style quiz? Yes. Okay. If you guys are comfortable with responding in the chat, what did it say your attachment style was, if you remember?
And do you agree or disagree with what the answers are?
Right, Beauty, welcome in. So ask yourself that question. Do you agree with it? And what is it? What is it? Do you agree with it? Good morning. How are you? Do you guys agree with what they said your attachment style was?
Well, I should have said, do you agree, disagree, or you're like this with it?
Okay. Good morning, Jay. Lady T, good morning. Good morning, everybody coming in. We got 80 people in here. Let's go. Let's tap that screen, y'all.
And understand that you are doing yourself a disservice if you don't answer questions honestly, if you're trying to identify things about yourself without somebody else telling you. The whole, look, the weight of self mastery and self awareness, right? The weight is on you. Because if you're the type that you do not like other people's opinion, if you don't like unsolicited advice, if you don't like people telling you things about yourself, then it makes it that much harder because now you have to rely on yourself. And if you're not 100% honest, you are cheating yourself of your own growth. And that's real difficult.
That's true though. That's true though, because a lot of times people are afraid to be uncomfortable, right? They don't want to be uncomfortable. So they won't tell themselves the truth. They won't tell themselves the truth in order to not be uncomfortable. Fearful and disorganized. Yes, I agree to mine. I know Tanya had responded to anxious, and yes, I agree with it. Okay, so Jay, I see you in the chat. I know you're a part of the Discord. If you can, while we on the live, to go into the Discord, go to the resources, and take the attachment style quiz. If you are a part of the Discord and you haven't taken the attachment style quiz, please go to the Discord, go to the resources, and take the attachment style quiz because it's going to be very important for this live. It's going to be very important for this live, so that way you guys can better understand.
Well, do you mean understand or understand?
Understand, and understand.
Venus, this for you, Venus. I picked these up in the wedding last week, so I thought about you. I said I'm gonna throw on the Venus.
Listen, so I think the one thing too, especially for the people that are in relationships, you gotta know your partner's attachment style as well. I want that, you know what I'm saying? You gotta know your partner's attachment style. Like,
And that causes controversy.
it can,
No, it will.
depending on the way they communicate, depending on the level of communication and the level of
If
understanding.
you're a human being, nobody wants to be told what they are without them identifying it first. But then they won't put the effort into identifying it themselves. So it's kind of a conflict.
I mean, it becomes a conflict if you put it that way, absolutely. But it's not your job to tell your partner exactly what they are. They're supposed to figure that out themselves.
So what is the job then when it comes to that?
To be able to communicate the two.
No, but what I'm
Once they figure
saying, well, let's say you're trying. Let's say you come across this device, right? Trying to figure out things about you, and you find it interesting because couples do that all the time. Hey, honey, I ran into this thing. You want to give it the look over, and then they go, nah.
Okay, so all right, I can only use my relationship as an example, right? Because me and Sweet Tea don't argue.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We can have a conversation about things that we fall short on without it becoming a fight. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know I'm a transparent person. If I see something, I'm gonna say something. And she's the same person. So that's why it works so well. Because we're already we're transparent with ourselves and we're transparent with each other. So when it comes to having these conversations, we can have these conversations. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be a fight because we're trying to grow with each other as well as grow ourselves. The one thing that people fall short on is holding themselves accountable in the relationship. They expect their spouse to hold themselves accountable. You're supposed to hold yourself accountable first before they hold you accountable.
That was very interesting.
I'm just saying because I think that's the one thing that differentiates my relationship with most is because I can hold myself accountable if I fall short. She can hold herself accountable if she falls short. But if I see something that she's held herself accountable for and she keeps doing it, then I'm going to say something. But I won't say anything until that happens. I'm one of those people. I pay attention first. I view things first and I pay attention first before I do anything rash. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna just jump off the bridge and just go rah rah. But that's not me. I observe, I acknowledge what's going on, and if I see that she's working on it, then I'm not gonna bring it up. But if I see that she's doing it and she's already made herself aware of that she's doing it and she continues to do it, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? Then that's when I say something. I'll be like, listen, like I see you're trying and you're working on this, but I still see you keep doing this right here, and it's not doing anything for you. I see it's hurting you more than it's doing you justice. So let's work on that and let's have that conversation. And we've had that conversation multiple times on my end and her end. Nobody's perfect, but in order to make things work, you got to have that conversation, and you got to be able to understand your spouse in all aspects. And that attachment style, that thing is important. Okay, that thing is important. If I and I'm for me, I'm avoidant and dismissive.
I'm going to give you a warning. I'm going to play the devil's advocate today for relationship attachment styles. Okay,
All right, that's cool. That's cool.
so get ready.
That's fine. Listen, if it's gonna help everybody have a better understanding, then let's do. I'm here for it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I see you in the chat, Jade. What's going on? So for me, I'm an avoidant. I'm avoidant and dismissive. I can easily do that. Like and that comes from childhood though. That comes from childhood because I don't like being yelled at. Right? I don't like being yelled at. I don't like being attacked. And most of the time, I've always been one to do things on my own. If you guys were here last week, I told you guys that the way that I grew up and the way that I was at 18 is not a normal 18-year-old. You know what I'm saying? I was way more responsible. I was way more adult-like. One, because I had a child, and two, I just didn't indulge in a lot of the things. I thought I could just handle things on my own without needing anybody. You know what I'm saying? And I would just disperse if I needed to disperse. So
First question. Ready?
no, I'm not disorganized. Absolutely not.
First question. You ready for this?
Right.
Should attachment styles, because you could have an attachment style, right? This is weird because in order for you to have an attachment, you need another person, right?
Right.
You sure about that?
Well, not well. All right, run with it. I got you. Go ahead. Go ahead. I see what you're doing.
Let's. We always talk
You're
about
frozen.
self, right? We always talk about
Is he
self,
freezing
right?
for you guys?
Am I freezing?
Anybody else?
Is it
Your
better?
connection is jumping in and out, sir. Yeah.
Don't tell
Okay.
me that.
Cool.
Better now?
Yeah, you're jumping in and out right now. Now, you're a little blurry, but I can hear. All right, we're good.
Okay.
We're good. We're good.
Maybe I need to walk into you. All right. So it's kind of a weird thing, right? Because we ask people to work on themselves before they even get involved or even date, right? We ask people to be the best that they can, right? Okay. So the thing is this. Once you find out your attachment style, what do you do with it? And is an attachment style permanent?
Oh no, it's not. That okay? So an attachment style is definitely not permanent because, in regards to me, I'm not like that no more. I was at one. That's the one that I identified with because I knew how I operated. You know what I'm saying? And when I did the test, that's exactly what came up. Was avoided and dismissive. But that stems from my childhood. That stems from the things that I've experienced in my life. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why that's the reason why I was avoiding and dismissive. Because a lot of things that I just didn't want to fucking deal with because it was unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, for me. And then the way that the relationship with my mom and my dad was for me, I didn't really get that mother and father love that most people experienced. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get that. So when I did get that, it was from my sister. You know what I'm saying? So I paid very close attention to how dismissive I was when my mom would try to show me love or the way how my dad would try to show me love. Because if it's something that you wasn't giving me in the first place, why would I even want it when you want to give it to me? I'm just gonna move out the fucking way. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to deal with it, and that's been me since I can remember. Right?
Right.
I'm not like that now. I've changed. I'm very more. I'm open to.
Hold it right there. Hold it right
Okay.
there. Have you ever switched from one attachment style to another before you learned about attachment styles and during or after?
If I had to choose another one that I ran across, would be anxious and preoccupied.
You flirted with avoidant and anxious.
Yes.
Was that in the past? Was that
That was definitely in my 20s.
so going further in the future? Do you see yourself being closer to another attachment style?
Secured.
Is that the goal?
That's always the goal. That is the goal.
Are you sure about that? Maybe that's your personal goal.
That's my personal goal. I can't speak for anybody else.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. An attachment style, the word attachment is a word that triggers people. So I want to again remind people of how we switched from attachment to connection.
I like that.
Let's remind people that the word attachment is a possible, continuous, toxic situation. Because why would you want to be attached to someone in a relationship?
Right.
Why should you be attached to a relationship style of you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Because
I'm right with you. Alicia, I got you. I did see your comment.
if you got one individual and you have another individual, right? Should those attachment styles, right, for the sake of the word, should they be compatible?
I like that. I like that. I like that. I had to think about it for a second. I'm just like,
Because it goes out the
I like
door,
that.
bro.
I like
Because,
that.
bro, think about this. You have an attachment style, right? But then this is what you're doing. You're walking around saying, I'm like this, I'm like that, I'm like this, I'm like that, and all that shit goes out the door when you get into a relationship.
It does. Because you got to have that balance.
So what are we talking about here?
Got to have that balance. But still, people still have to acknowledge it.
It has to turn from an attachment to a connection.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing as negative and positive and chaos and peace, right? You gotta understand it and experience it to either learn how to accept it or avoid it.
Right.
It's the same process. Alicia seen the quote that I put in the Discord. I said to understand negativity and chaos, you have to avoid it. You have to understand it.
And you have to learn how to be neutral, like an atom. An atom has a proton, neutrons, and then you have the nucleus. You got to understand that there's always a midpoint to something. If you have left and right, then there's the center. If you have up and down, then there's the center, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what people fail to realize is, one, an attachment style can be an approach to something to try to reach a connection between things. Because an attachment sounds permanent.
It does sound permanent, right?
Yeah, but when you use the
sound
word
permanent.
connection, it's easy to disconnect than unattach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just playing on words so people can not get caught up with the verbiage. Right, Gumbo?
Right? Because I know they hear attachments, they're like, oh my God, I'm stuck there. I don't want to.
You can talk yourself into a toxic attachment.
You really can. You really can. And it doesn't have to be in a whole it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be a situationship. It could be, you know what I'm saying? It don't even have to be a temporary, permanent thing. It could be something temporary, but you still walk yourself into it.
Well, anxious and avoidant relationships are considered unhealthy or insecure attachments. They can often lead to relationships that cause you great anxiety, distress, and emotional pain.
Well, that was my 20s, guys. Hi, how you doing?
Welcome back.
That was my 20s, guys. How you doing? So yeah, that was fun.
So then
Um,
here's the thing. So then, why in a relationship do we need an attachment at all?
you don't need an attachment. That's not the point. The point is to understand it, so that way you guys can have an effective communication towards what you guys understand what it is for you,
So what's
right? To have that
but what's
to
more
have that
important?
effective communication, because the thing is, right, even though it disperses when you're in a relationship, doesn't mean that they don't show traits of it in the relationship.
You don't really get rid of all of it. You still have remnants.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they still have to know what it is and understand it, because even in a relationship you will show traits of that in the relationship. Not saying that it's never gonna go away, because that if that's a part of you, if that's a part of you, then that's gonna, I got you, that you're gonna show traits of it in the relationship. But if you understand it, right, then you can navigate it and you can communicate that with the person that you're with.
Interesting. So can we say, I can't wait for Gumbo to answer this one. Can we say that it's fair to disattach yourself from your attachment to create a connection with your relationship?
Yes, 100%.
And that's where people get it wrong because they
That's
want,
how people end up single.
yeah, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why I tell people, stop using this term, be selfish. Sometimes you got to be selfish. No, you should never be selfish. You should be centered. And then when you become self-centered, then you have to start dispersing it because then you become selfish. You see what that's where people get it wrong. Centered and self-centered are two different things.
So I'm gonna read that thing that I wrote in regards to the negativity and chaos. I know it's off the ball, but I thought I'd read it because I know you'll catch what I did if I read it. You have to understand negativity and chaos to avoid it. You have to understand chaos and negativity to know how to avoid it. In order to avoid chaos, you have to understand it and experience it. In order to avoid negativity, you have to understand it and experience it. Life needs balance. You cannot want peace and positivity, but never experience or dealt with negativity or chaos.
Again, I try to approach things from a neutral perspective, right? So you can see both sides. Because if you don't see both sides, you're now attaching yourself to a linear thought process. It is not a open-minded, flexible conversation anymore.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was going with that, because everybody wants peace. Everybody wants peace. Everybody wants peace. Everybody wants positivity. But you have to have a balance. There's a balance to it. There's a balance to everything. The key word to your healing process, relationship, or life is balance. You have to have a balance of everything. Without balance, you're gonna fall short somewhere without the balance.
Exactly.
Something's gonna be off. There's gonna be a little bit of teeter-totter every time.
But then people try to compartmentalize things and say, "Look, I'm balanced in this area, but I'm not balanced in this area." That means you're imbalanced. If you this is balanced, this is balanced, this is not balanced, this is not balanced. Okay, if you're doing math, you're imbalanced. You are not imbalanced if there's any type of imbalance.
Agreed. 100%.
The wordplay
100%.
there, you're not in balance if you are imbalanced.
Sir.
Hey, I'm telling you that today I'm the devil's advocate, and I don't want people to get caught up with the words because sometimes
You're welcome in.
people get caught up with the words and they don't get the true essence. People get stuck right there. Like, look, I'll give you an example. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and I said, "Hey, we're going on 5 months of something, right?" And they were like, "Nah, it's more like 3.5." I'm like, "Okay, if you want to be actual about it, it's 4.1." You see what I'm trying to tell you? Like, what I said was it's soon to be 5 months, meaning that we're not at 5 months yet, but so you get stuck in the conversation because of something that is uncomfortable or bothering you. Yet we can't move on to the next part of the conversation, right? Because we get stuck on the words.
You're a secure attachment, Jay. Cool, 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 cool. Okay, I rock with it. How truthful did you answer that test, though?
Oof. The thing is that after you take that test, you should honestly look at things from a different perspective and then go ahead and take that test 2 weeks later.
Yep.
Because as you learn what things are, you either get closer to it or you move further away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want people to recognize. Attachment styles are temporary. You are in control if you know. If you know, you are in control. But you have to know, right?
Right.
In order to control, right?
True.
So the more you know, the more control.
I mean, it's true though. That's where that balance comes in again. Hello. The word balance is everywhere, guys. It has to be a part of your everyday existence.
Everything.
Like, it's everything. It's everything. If you don't take anything from what we teach you guys, right, and what we talk about, understand balance is everything.
So guess what? If you do not know love, then you do not have balance.
Give them a little bit more than that, sir. You can't just say that.
All right, I'm a firm believer that the important things in life is love, joy, and peace. Joy being more of an extended happiness, right? Of a more of a personality trait now. You understand what I'm saying? Than it is spurts of happiness, right? So I've always said that in order to enjoy your peace, you have to be balanced by love. So without love, what do you really have? Because love is what defeats many things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have something to stand up for, what do you really have? If you don't have love in your life, you can't have balance, because where is this intent coming from? When we tell you to speak intentional, when we tell you to pick and choose your words, believe it or not, that's love.
Right.
Because if your intention is with love, then I tell you that you're going to know right away what another person's receiving method is. Because remember that receiving is also part of attachment, and that's the part that we're not talking about yet. Which attachment style are you when it comes to where you're at with your ability to receive love?
That's huge. That's huge. No, I mean that's huge though, because it's like, whoo, Lord Jesus.
Think about this. We could talk about this till the river runs dry, but if you're
Right.
not ready to receive it, if you're not ready to live in it, right? If you're not ready to put forth, then what do you become? You become a person that fights it when it comes to you, but you're ready to disperse it to everyone. And then what you're doing again? You are pouring from a hole in your glass, or you're pouring from an empty cup.
So for everybody that I know, hold on. I know Alicia wanted me to read the disorganized and fearful attachment.
I wrote that down.
So I'm gonna read it in regards to that because I know she wanted to hear it. So give me just a second. Unless you already have it up. I don't know if you have it up or not.
No,
but-
I told you I'm being the devil's advocate so that people can see both.
I got it then. I got it up. So Alicia, if you're listening, for anybody that wanted to disorganize and fearful, avoidant, people with disorganized attachment styles tend to vacillate between the trait both anxious and avoidant attachment style, depending on their mood and circumstances. For this reason, someone with this attachment style tend to show how confusing and ambiguous behavior in their social bonds. For adults with disorganized attachment, the partner and the relationship themselves are often sourced of both desire and fear. On one hand, fearful avoidant people do not want intimacy or closeness. but on the other hand, experience trouble with trusting and dependent others. People with this attachment style often struggles with identifying and regulating their emotions and tend to avoid strong emotional attachment due to their intense fear of getting hurt.
That's a mouthful.
I know it is.
But you know what one of the key words in there is?
Go ahead.
Mood.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because are you ever on the same mood?
No,
Moods change, right?
absolutely.
So if we're going to associate, listen to this word. I'm not saying attachment or connection. If we're going to associate or correlate with an attachment style, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then mood plays a part. And moods are never constant, right? People's moods change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then doesn't that mean that an attachment style has to change?
Yeah, at some point in time, it definitely does.
So are we one attachment style or do we dig into
I mean,
other?
I feel like we dive into all of them, but some people do get stuck. Some
That's
people
an
do get
attachment.
stuck.
That's the attachment.
Yep, that's the attachment. They get stuck in that one dynamic.
Because a connection is when you make a connection with something, you can control the attachment.
Yeah.
But if you are attached, can you control the connection?
No.
See how that works?
Yeah, it's really simple. It's simple mathematics. It's crazy.
What do you think about that? Gumbo's like, I can't wait. he's like, man.
This microphone not being on the front page is messing with me. The mute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so run me real quick because I was in but not all the way in.
Uh-oh.
Give him something.
I'm not gonna touch that, no pun intended.
Okay, yeah, no diddy.
Okay. So we just basically trying to again go with the connection and attachment thing that attachments should be temporary, and then his definition and what he just wrote had the word mood in it. So if the word mood is in attachment and attachment has to do with mood, moods switch up.
So technically yes, but if you're talking about an attachment style, it goes way deeper than that because a lot of times it comes from childhood stuff, and that stuff makes the flavors of this vast. And I think the word attachment in the truest form, yes, you're correct. But when you start attaching it to like trauma, some people, it's a lifelong thing until they identify it and like manage it. Because if you don't work on a trauma, it's almost impossible. You're gonna always keep picking the same. You're always going to keep staying in the same places, and you're gonna wonder why. Like you'll still subconsciously or consciously will put it on the other people. Like, why are they attracted to me? Why am I always showing up here? And it's like you've always been this way, and you just never really looked at it. So yes, temporary. Yes, it should be temporary because we should acknowledge that it exists. But until we do stuff like what we're doing here by having people take the test, you may never know what it is because it's something that you have suppressed and you don't even know that it's going on until you look at your life and your patterns and you're like, wait, oh my God, I am anxious. Look at how I showed up here. Look at how I showed up there. So it's interesting. Once I started like looking into this some years ago, and I was like, wait, if this is true, it's a lot of people out here that's not just dating. They're attaching to whatever the hell makes that trauma feel good.
That part.
That's funny because look, watch this. I'm gonna read the definition of attachment.
Go for it.
An extra part or extension that is or can be attached to something to perform a particular function. Not this function, function. The point of an attachment is an accessory. It's an extension. But people take that word attachment and they add permanent. You see, like there's a difference between something that is. That's why they put the word permanent in front of attachment. A permanent attachment or something that you can remove. Correct?
Yeah, The whole thing about it is that the word permanent only applies to your psyche. So that's why we have to unlearn and relearn ourselves in order to detach from that permanent thinking, because it doesn't have to be your life. And that's really what we do in coaching, is to tell you, like, wait, I know you're in this bubble, but the rest of the world is out here that you can experience, and it's not like what you think. And then it's like, what? Oh my God. And then when you the work of looking backwards a little bit, you're gonna be like, wait, yeah, I am that. Because even like when I always talk about my wounds of having emotionally detached parents, my mom, when my mom listened to one of my shows, she was like, why did you say that? And then I said, no, think about it. And then she was like, oh my God, we are like this. Like sometimes you sometimes you don't know until you actually, like, you got to sit down and sit down and heal. You got to stop for a minute and think about it, because a lot of stuff that we do, there's patterns to it. There's like stuff that you can literally pinpoint moments in time and realize that you weren't falling in love, you were falling in attachment.
So,
Ay, ay, ay.
so real quick. So, for everybody that's not a part of the Discord, right? I did you guys a quick service. I attached a quiz to my link tree. Okay. So if you're not a part of the Discord and haven't joined the Discord yet, but you are in here and have never taken this quiz, okay, go to hit my picture up there. Go to that link in my profile. The first link should say free attachment style quiz. Go take that link. But join the Discord though. Just saying. You're missing out. When you took it last night, so what did you think, Ms. Ducky? What did you get out of that one when you took your quiz? Moment of
Hold
silence.
on. I'm sorry. Say it again. I'm sorry.
I was trying to see. Ms. Ducky said that she took the quiz last night, so I'm curious on what her response, what it showed, that what hers is, because I showed Gumbo the little questionnaire thing that I created, or anxious and disorganized. Okay, cool. So yeah, while you guys are taking it, we'll continue. Just drop your response after the quiz in the chat and let us know what it says, because there's a reason for this. there's a reason for this.
And here's the caveat to taking these tests, so that you guys have a disclaimer. Whatever it says is not an indictment on your rest of your life. We can alter the course. We can move towards more secure, or understand where you are and manage it so that it doesn't control you, right? Because a lot of us will never be fully
Say
secure.
that again. Say that one more time, Gumbo.
You have to. So what people will do when they see these attachment styles is they'll be like, well, I want to be secure, and they want to run towards it and be like, I'm not going to feel successful unless I'm 100% secure. Most of us won't be 100%. We just learn how to live with it and manage it better, because we know when we get in that argument, that anxious part of us kicks up. It still kicks up. I just don't let it run me anymore. You get it? Like, it's still there because it comes from a place way, 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 way back when. I just know that it's in me now, and I know how to maneuver around it, and I know how to tell my partner, this is what I'm dealing with, so that the partner has a better understanding of how you operate. And sometimes through that dialogue, sometimes through understanding, you can move to more secure. But don't feel defeated if you still feel those things pulling on you, because it's been a part of you since probably you were in grade school.
Right. No, thanks. It turns out I'm 100% Riz.
100% real. Uh-oh.
Yeah. People will take the test and be like, oh my God, I'm like this. And I'm like, no. This is a revelation moment here. Like, now we know what to work on.
You know what kind of goes hand in hand with that quiz? That personality test.
Ay.
Yeah.
That personality test, which is also part of the Discord, by the way, because I put it in there. Hi, how you guys doing? So, if you guys want to take that personality test and then take the attachment style quiz, they go hand in hand. You'll see a lot of comparisons within those two quizzes when you take them.
Now, let's go to the second definition of attachment.
Go for it.
Affection, fondness, or sympathy for someone or something. I'm going to say that one more time because there's a key word in there. Affection, fondness, or sympathy for someone or something. So, are we saying that in order for you to have an attachment, there has to be a level of empathy?
I like that.
That's an ouch moment, Gumbo. I love when Gumbo thinks. I can see his veins in the
like
forehead.
his brain is braining right now. Like it's just like
And I'll say one more thing, Gumbo. You just made me think. You know how many times I have my mother sitting down thinking because of the conversations, the things that I've learned? And you have to kind of look at your parents and say, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when you talk to them, they don't admit it right away. They try to karate you, they try to fight you. But then when they actually sit down, they go, oh, snap.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many oh snap moments have you had with your family?
A lot.
way too many.
A lot. Family, see that, and it's also generational too, right? It's like the things that they were taught and the things that they were taught not to speak about. Those conversations, when you come into them from a very vulnerable place, from a eye-opening place, a lot of times they don't want to hear it. They be like, I don't want to talk about that. And I'm like, no, this is affecting not just me, it's affecting you. You don't even realize it. Like I had to tell my mom, because my mom, since my dad's passing, she's filled her days with things like tasks, so she doesn't have to think about it. And I'm like, you gotta sit down. And she said, I can't. And I was like, you can, you're just choosing not to. This is a coping mechanism for you. So it's like with these attachment styles and all these other things that we unearth about ourselves, it's like until you understand it, you can't control it. You can't manage it. And the non-management of it is a trail of tears across your whole life that you're like, they just hurt me. I keep getting hurt. I'm like, no, you're attaching to people specifically that will eventually hurt you. And we got to figure out why. That doesn't mean we absolve the people who hurt you, but we had to think about why sometimes we enjoy dysfunction. We may not on its face enjoy it, but the fact that you stayed for 5 years, something's there.
Attachment.
Exactly. This is why this is important. It's important to learn this stuff about ourselves, the self-mastery, Venus, right? It's important to learn these pieces. This is a piece. The attachment style is just a piece to the enlightenment that you should have in your journey to awareness and mastering yourself. So once you start getting these pieces, there should be some eye-opening moments where there should be some kind of push towards change. And so we have to ask ourselves, once we have the information, why are we not moving?
Bingo, because
Why?
people don't know what to do with it because they spend so much energy debunking, right, and fighting, right, and flight mode, right, that when they try to actually do something about it, they don't have the energy to do so, right, because they just wasted their energy because it's a big fight. We're like, damn, I've been believing this all my life, right? I've been living, and all it took was a couple of words or for me to look things from a different perspective. And then now you start kicking yourself in the butt, right?
Yeah.
That takes a lot of energy. You know, they say that we are our own strongest and worst critics, right? So somebody in the chat asks, where does empathy come from? That is a loaded question, very loaded question, because it can come from evolution, development, brain activity. It could also come from motor mimicry. That's a big word. Motor mimicry. Look it up. Mimicry. Motor mimicry. Now that's high level. We're trying to keep it here on a fundamental, basic level here because there's a lot of people that are advanced and there's a lot of people that are not. And you notice that it's a mixed crowd because there's people that's done the work in the chat and they're still here because they also know that there's something else that they could learn that they might have missed along the way.
Absolutely.
Are you the type of person that says, I would if I could, but I don't know, so I won't?
Ooh.
Welcome to the stage, Venus.
That part right there. Oh my God.
Hello, Venus. Welcome to the line of fire.
Pew, pew, pew.
Listen,
Think about it. I would if I could. Now, that goes to the question. One of the most important questions of self development is you can't or you won't.
greetings, Adam.
Ask yourself this question anytime that you go into a dilemma, anytime that you go into a contradiction, anything that you go into something that could be controversial. You won't do it or you can't do it. Is it because you can't do it or because you won't do it? Because how do you know what you're capable of if you don't try?
I like that, right? It's like I would do it, but I hate that.
White people can't admit they just don't want to.
It stresses me out when people
Stresses
use the
you
word
out.
when you use the word but, okay? Because you it dismisses everything that you say.
I agree with you, but
Like just dismisses everything.
I'm on the same page with you, but you can't have balance without knowledge. Gumbo hit it right in the head. You cannot have balance without knowledge.
And you know what else too? As an aside, like it because there's multi layers of most of the stuff we talk about. But you got to think about it like this: the not doing, the not wanting to, almost becomes a normal part of life for people. That doing something different is scary.
Attachment.
You're so used to it being inactive on the things that are to help you grow, and you've created a dysfunctional comfort zone around it. And so when somebody's like, "Why aren't you moving?" and you're like, "I don't want to. I'm good. I'm good like this." And I'm like, "You're good with all of the despair and and the pain," and they're like, "It's all I know."
This is why I love this show because about a month ago we talked about habits and addictions. Right? What do you think happens when you stay too long in an attachment?
Becomes an addiction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Gumbo hit it on the head. You're so used to doing things that to you, that's functional. You could be dysfunctional all your life and still function from it because you don't understand or know what you're actually doing.
No, time out. Because once they realize it and they continue to do it, it now becomes a choice.
Yep. Bingo.
Well, I said that you could only be ignorant once, right?
I mean, yeah, no, that's facts. But we gotta give people that peace as well. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a habit, yes. Does it become an addiction? Absolutely. But once you recognize it and you know that you're doing it, it's no longer those two things.
Let me ask you a question. If you wanted to take a walk, if you wanted to take a 2-mile walk, right? 2 miles. But you want to include being back where you started from. Don't you have to walk a mile and then walk a mile back?
Yeah, absolutely.
So then don't you have to go and face how far off balance you've been and you have to make that trip all the way back.
Yeah. And that comes from what I read with the understanding the chaos and the negativity. You have to understand it to avoid it. To understand it to learn it. You have to experience it and understand it to avoid it and learn it. You can't walk around thinking that it's just all roses and petals and you know what I'm saying? You can't want all these happy things if you're not going to experience the bad or understand the bad. You have to have a balance of both. If you want the majority of your balance to be positive, you have to understand the negative. And then you have to balance it out. Because if you don't balance it out, you're going to fall short.
And that's why we need Gumbo's expertise because understanding, you know, in reference to Venus, when you have the knowledge now, right? When you have the knowledge, that's not good enough, right? Because a lot of people get stuck with the knowledge. Now, that's where Gumbo comes in. His expertise shows you what to do with this new, it's not new, it's new to you.
I was about to say that.
It's always been there. See, this is what people don't understand. It's always been there, but it's new to you. What do people do? How do people move forward when they get punched in the face and they go, man, I've been dropping the ball all this time?
Yeah,
Listen,
that's the important part about what we do as coaches is we fill in the gaps of the stuff that you don't once you want. Because the first thing is the acknowledgement that it exists, and then the how. None of us were. We always say none of us were taught the how, so
right?
we fill that gap in. But once you get the how, now that choice becomes even more real because now you can't say you don't even have the tools to do it or the how to get on the other side. And the unfortunate choice you have to make is uncertain future or having control over the dysfunction and the normalization of the stuff that's not serving you. And that control tends to be a better option than the uncertainty of what you could become later. And that is a debilitating choice that people have to make, and they sit in it for so long. Even with the like, you could sit on 20 workshops with all the information. You could get on these lives every day and still sit. You're making a choice to sit because that sitting is a pseudo comfortable for you. Like you think it's cool to still stay stuck in the place where you are because it's what you know, it's familiar. So it's kind of like, what do you want to really be familiar with?
Think about it this way, right? For everybody that's social media savvy, that be on the other social media platform, the Book of Faces and whatever the case may be. Y'all notice all those posts people be making? Oh my God, my relationship is ba 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 ba, and this is going on in my relationship and ba 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 ba. But yet, when you give them the truth on why, because I'm a truth teller. If I see these things, I'm gonna comment on them just to give you a better understanding of why that you're doing this and why you're experiencing this. And when I give them that response, you know what they do? They delete the post. The post gets deleted. And then I get a message. And he was like, wow, I didn't even think about it that way. Well, of course, you know, especially when you're making a post about emotions. But you know, that's beside the point. But my job, right, even if I'm not coaching them, is to give them an understanding of why they're doing these things, right? Yeah. Why are they responding the way that they're responding? Why are you so upset at your spouse for certain things? Or why are you attached to these people, whether they're a relationship or friends? I give them just a small teaching moment, but it can make a big difference. Some people don't have the knowledge, they don't have the information, they don't have the understanding or understanding to realize why they do the things that they do.
Yep. And you know what? I want to hear from Venus, but I want to say a quick sentence. There is a difference between cognitive and emotional empathy. For all you empaths, right? I'm an empath. Da, 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 da. I'm a spiritual goddess. Yeah. I'm aligned with the astrology. Let me let me explain something to you. Cognitive empathy is the ability to understand another person's mental state. That's the cognitive, right? Emotional empathy is the ability to share and experience their emotions. Please learn the difference because that kind of taps into the fight between sympathy and empathy. Oh, you have to actually be in someone's shoes in order to do that. You think that all coaches been through everything that you've been through? You think that all psychologists and psychiatrists have been through everything? First and foremost, never trust a coach that never had coaching. Would you go to a bald barber? Would you eat food from a skinny chef? See how the play on words go, Gumbo? Learn the difference between cognitive. First of all, cognitive is a very important word to learn. Standing alone, being cognitive is a very important term that everyone must just look it up. Write it down somewhere, everybody, and look up the word cognitive so that you understand how the brain and the heart are always fighting and you have to make them in unison in order to actually make a balanced decision. Miss Venus.
Yes, that is called brain and heart coherence.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
That is called brain and heart coherence. And that is a phenomenal study, something for us to understand. However, thank you, coaches, monumental. I wanted to just add to the conversation piece, just to share some information regarding the quizzes and the exams and the assessment. So I know many of us, we're eager to learn, right? When we get to that point, we want to know, we want to learn, we want to grow, and we begin to seek these answers in various places, right? To get some resolve to our questions. However, something important for those of us who is on that journey, especially at the beginning of that journey, when you don't fully understand how your mind works, operates, how the different levels of your consciousness works, and all of these things have everything to do with you. When you don't understand how your neural circuitry works, when you're taking those types of tests, quizzes without someone that is qualified that can assist you, it could be a coach, mentor, therapist, just someone that is qualified to assist you. This is why we always say you need the mentoring, you need the guidance, because if not, the answers that you get from taking those quizzes and assessments without someone that can interpret what those things mean, they can end up hurting you more than they help you because of the way your brain operates, your mind and your neural circuitry operates. You take the answers that you get in from that test, quiz, etc., as a matter of fact, instead of something just to process and assess. And when you then do that, you start to adopt and accept things, titles, labels that probably has nothing to do with you. But then you inadvertently start doing what that I always say. What you feed will gain power, and what you starve will lose its power. Right? And so amongst all the other things that you are already fighting with, right, that you are already experiencing cognitive dissonance with, you just add it to that fuel. You just add it to that fire. You add it to that pressure. So this is another reason why it's so imperative when you're doing things like that, taking those quizzes, to not just say, oh, this will be fun. It all can't be fun and games, because those things matter and they shape your reality. Ashe, I just wanted to add that.
I mean, no, I agree. Right?
Tenfold for sure.
I agree with that. This is why when I tell you guys to take these tests, I only do them when we're here, when the coaches are here, so that way we can help you navigate through it. Right? Even if you're taking it in the Discord, you still have access to the coaches to ask questions once you take that test. Because we don't ever want you to take the test and just go about your way and go about your day like normal. No. Ask questions after you take the test. It's important. It's important. That's an important piece, is to ask questions after you take that test, because that way you can have a better understanding on why it went that way.
You know what? Just to play on words a little bit, we're going to talk TikTok, right? There is a big difference between a content creator and a content influencer. There's a lot of content creators, right? Everybody's a content creator. Oh, I make my $1.25 every 2 weeks from TikTok. Yeah, okay. But an influencer, right? It's someone that has the strength, the know-how, the knowledge to have you open your brain, to have you think. You know what I'm saying? To put you in a position where it's not funny. It's just not funny. Like when you start taking these tests, don't do it like a Ouija board. Don't do it in front of 3 or 4 different people. You know what I'm saying? Take your time, relax, right? Take this test, be open-minded, and be honest. When you're around other people and you take these tests, you tend to be influenced by the people around you. Do it by yourself, because this is not a game. This is not Parcheesi. You know what I'm saying? This is not spades. You know what I'm saying? This is your life.
Right.
Take it seriously, because if you don't take life seriously, life will show you something. I promise you.
Absolutely.
I
So,
think peacefully said something in here. I don't know if you want to take that one, Venus, or not. She's talking about, I think she said that her family, like they laugh at pain. They don't necessarily like feel it, or they don't, I won't say they don't feel it.
Hmm.
She says, we are doers. How do we become feelers without laughing at our pain? What is that?
Well, if I'm interpreting her question or thought
you can
correctly,
put,
a part of it may be that when someone does that, oftentimes they are deflecting and they're using that as a coping mechanism. That's a mechanism of brain circuitry, your neural circuitry. It's a defense mechanism that your body and your mind is naturally going to produce, because when you do things like that, your mind tells you that, oh, this is something dangerous. So this is something hazardous. And so the defense mechanism will automatically kick in. And then you do things like you laugh, you smile, you fidget, you go find something else to do, right? To get out of that. So when a person says that they are doers, oftentimes they really don't understand that what they are, for lack of better terms right now, runners, right? Because it is only in the stillness that your brain circuitry can process and pull from your dominant database, which lies in the unconscious mind. Some call it subconscious, but it actually is lower than that, to where it can pull up those things so you can actually deal with them. So a lot of us in turn ended up using coping mechanisms and running because you will feel uncomfortable. And the more you do that, you actually aren't getting better, you are getting worse, because what you suppress grows. And just because you aren't able to physically, visually see what's going on within doesn't mean that it's not going on. I can guarantee you that there's a festering and eventually it will explode.
How does that relate? How does that relate to the topic? Doesn't it? Are you talking about now another attachment to the defense mechanism?
That could be considered a s- it could be I would just say it could be a style, a way you do things, a way you handle things. This is your temperament, this is your go-to. I would say that it's a style. I'm not sure if I would necessarily call it an attachment style. However, on this other spectrum, it could be considered an attachment style. You are attached to not handling things. You are attached to running from things. You understand? So it could be considered both.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
These type of people probably would track more towards being an avoidant attachment style when things
Right.
get
There
too
you go.
emotional. Yeah, so the even deeper issue here too, not issue, I don't want to say issue, is that it's familial. It's not just her, it's her whole family. This is how they all handle it. So it's kind of like these things that are generational, right? Like they pass on, this is how you handle things, cuz it's not just her, it's everybody. And then here comes the hard part. When you reach the point of enlightenment, what do you look like to them? They might start laughing at you.
become the black sheep.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Become the black. I mean, let's be honest, right? That's usually what happens when you become that person that actually grows and elevates and starts to understand things. You become the black sheep. Like that's just the truth. You become the black sheep.
Yeah.
Everything that she wrote in the chat was a norm. It was a norm until to her it no longer became a norm.
Oh wow. This goes
Yeah.
right back to
See?
habits and addictions, man. This goes right back front and center.
A lot of the stuff that we speak about on here becomes full circle. It's just what it is, right? Because it's a part of the process.
I got goosebumps.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of the
Yeah,
stuff that we speak about on here comes full circle because it's a part of the process.
Yeah. And she said military family, so that sews a lot of it up.
Right.
Oh, you were
Yeah.
former military, Gumbo?
No, no, no. Venus was, but
I was former military. People don't know that. I hide that a lot. So I that's a whole different village.
I mean, I can also tell with the clean cut and the clean look. Yeah, you know, like
Definitely a trait. Definitely a trait.
The clean slick.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
this is from my chips, Poncherello. Baby. Don't play with it. You know what I'm saying? I was there last night with your R&B thing. Don't play it. Don't play with it.
Oh, we was having fun. We was having fun.
Yeah.
But no, it becomes a norm. It becomes a norm for the family and for the people that try to grow out of it, get away from it, escape from it. You become the black sheep. I am currently the black sheep of my family, and I can honestly say that with open confidence that I'm the black sheep of my family because my family lives in chaos, and not chaos, negativity, chaos, just chaos. Like they're comfortable with clutter and all this and being on quote unquote on top of each other and not having no boundaries. Like they love that chaos. They live in it. They can, you know what I'm saying? They might not like it, but they're comfortable in it. And I'm not comfortable in that. I can't have chaos in my life. I like having a little bit of control, not a lot, but enough control to keep myself at peace and balance.
I was the opposite. I needed chaos. I needed chaos. I looked for chaos when things were too peaceful. Because remember, I never knew peace, right? So
Right.
when I first was introduced to peace, I was like, this is very uncomfortable. Think about this. I was uncomfortable with peace. Going back to the military thing, men and women now in the military, a lot of that trickles into their family, their family style. So they think they treat their family members like subordinates. They don't treat them as family members.
Right. They don't treat them as civilians.
The family that they recognize first and foremost is the military family.
Absolutely. I mean, that
And they
think about all
mimic
the experiences.
They try to mimic that into their relationship.
But that's their struggle of not being able to separate the military life from being a civilian.
It's hard.
You know what I'm saying? Which, mind you, guys, we're gonna be talking about that next month, by the way.
It is for those that don't understand what they do to you when you're in the military. Like there's some brainwashing going on. There's some indoctrination going on. There's a heavy. You pretty much your personality that you thought you were or who you thought you were gets shattered. So that's the perfect example of breaking you down before they build you up.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna go into that because we're gonna be talking about that next month for the month of
I
November.
only said that so people could recognize: are you the type you break people down before you lift them up, or do you lift them up only to break them down? Which one are you?
Right. So if you guys don't know, the month of November, we're celebrating all the veterans for the month. So if you are a veteran, make sure you're following all the coaches. Make sure you're following me because we're going to be celebrating all our veterans for the month of November. So you guys have a platform to come up and speak about the things that you've experienced, how you handle it with your mental health, and where are you now moving forward with your process after leaving the military and after becoming a civilian all over again with experiencing the life that you lived as a military soldier or an officer, or if you were actually in the field. You know what I'm saying? We got one of our veterans here that's gonna be there, so make sure y'all tune in. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have an interesting conversation. I think it's gonna be real deep. So I'm here for all of it.
I haven't shared the live yet. Hold on.
But hey Huntress, welcome in. So I want to do this real quick. What time is it? Before we do the break.
18.
Okay, before we do the break. I created this questionnaire, and it's a simple questionnaire, right? So everybody should be able to answer this as truthfully as possible.
I got an echo.
Scroll your thing up and scroll it back down. Scroll your thing down and scroll it back up. You should be, yeah. TikTok gives you an echo every time, like you pause your screen or something like that. I don't know what it is. They need to fix that. It's weird.
And sometimes when you're giving too much good information too.
Yeah, that too.
That's probably number one on their algorithm trip list.
Right. Honestly, you good
God
now?
forbid, God forbid you say accountability. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
Glitch.
I can't tell because everybody talking.
Well, you sound good. I don't hear an echo.
I don't hear echo on your end.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna go out and come back in. I tried to swipe.
Okay, I'll
It's
let you
just
come
me.
back in.
Again with the Diddy reference. Okay.
Well, while we're waiting for Gumbo to come back, make sure y'all keep tapping that screen and sharing out the live. Keep sharing it out. Keep sharing it out. Keep sharing it out. Got you, bro.
I forgot to share, so expect a blow up real soon.
Yeah, let's go. I'm here for it.
So yeah, this is the
There we go.
part where people start coming out of nowhere.
All right, so I quickly created this a couple of days ago. It's an attachment style questionnaire game. Okay. Depending on how you answer these questions, will kind of dictate where you are with your attachment style. Now, just because you took that quiz, right, doesn't mean that it's going to be the same exact attachment style, which kind of plays on what Hormiga says. We kind of jump from attachment style to attachment style, right? So, just to give you a disclaimer, you might not fall under the same attachment style. And I want everybody to answer this, even the coaches. Okay? So the first question is, and it's a simple question. This is gated to relationships. Even if you're not a relationship, you should be able to answer this question pertaining to your personality and character. You should be able to answer these questions. The first question is, how do you feel when your partner wants to spend time apart? A, anxious, worried that they might not come back. B, relieved as I enjoy my independence. C, comfortable as I trust they will return. Or D, confused. I feel a mix of wanting closeness and fearing it.
Do we get to eat all of the above?
Nope.
Some people got two answers or three.
I see a lot of C's in here.
What's your combo?
I think I'm a C on this one, but I do understand. Like I felt multiples of them in my life though.
Right. So
Like it ain't just one.
So let's do this. Currently, for where you are right now, answer the question. So for currently, I see B, C, and D. I see A.
It's weird. It's weird because I was so attached to my exes, right? That I didn't appreciate alone time. Remember what I told you that I didn't know what peace was, right?
Right.
And then when I finally realized how important and how rich you feel in your own peace, it's ridiculous. So I'm at the point right now where I understand it. Everybody needs a little time apart, but I got an answer for that. There's two ways of looking at distance. Distance either makes the heart grow fonder or out of sight, out of mind.
Very much so.
And that's an ouch.
Okay, so answer the question, sir, because you didn't answer the question.
I'm not answering the question.
You gotta answer the question. You gotta answer the question. Answer the question.
Only on me.
Say the choices one more time.
Anxious and worried that they might not come back, which is A. B,
Never.
relieved as I enjoy my independence. C, comfortable as I trust they will return. Or D, confused. I feel a mix of wanting closeness and fearing it.
I'm at a BC, leaning more towards C.
Okay. I'll give you C. Go for it. Okay. Number 2, how do you typically react to conflict in a relationship? This is gonna be a good one.
I already feel it.
Y'all better be honest too, damn it.
I already feel it.
Honest. I want y'all to be as honest as possible
To
in
put it in
regards to these
instances,
questions.
you're saying now, like
Like currently,
state of being.
in your current state right now. In your current state right now. How do you how do you typically react? Because listen, if I was answering these questions from back then, y'all wouldn't want my answers. How do you typically react to conflict in a relationship? A, I become very upset and fear the relationship might end. B, I try to avoid the conflict and distance myself. C, I address the issues calmly and work towards a resolution. Or D, I feel overwhelmed and may react unpredictably, switching between wanting to resolve and withdrawing it.
I say C and also E.
So C and D.
The last one was E.
I
Those
said
do.
E. I
B.
put it there for this
You
one.
said I put it there?
Oh, you put. Oh, I was like, wait. I was like,
Not you kind of create your own letters.
E is just fly away. All you see is the back of my wings.
yeah.
So,
I didn't. I don't even know if I fit in one of these. Like I
See, but it
like
doesn't have to fit all of it. So you guys don't. If it don't fit, it don't fit, right?
yeah. Like
But
like
this,
my E would be. I want to hurry up and get it over with right now, so I can feel better. It's selfish as hell.
right. And I'm and there's a reason why I'm doing this, right? There's a reason why I'm doing this. So just run with me. How do you? Because I did the same thing with the procrastination.
Hold on. Before you go there, Gumbo, didn't we just have a conversation and didn't you ask the magic question, have you ever ghosted someone?
Uh huh.
And then you had mixed answers, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
is it ever good to ghost or? And I think me and Venus agreed. There's some times where you just gotta hit the road.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
that's why I chose E. You see the back of my wings flying away like an
Now that's an unfair question because remember that word mood.
Yeah. See, it wasn't the question wasn't supposed to be fair. It's
No, but
just
that's
a
what I'm saying.
question.
But it depends on my mood because sometimes I ask myself, why are we even getting into this, right? And then other times I have to get myself to a place where I can be positive and do a conducive way of conflict resolution. You feel
But
what I'm
guess
saying?
what, Hormiga? Life isn't fair. Sorry, not sorry. Life isn't fair. So
Oh hell! I did it again.
just scroll, just swipe your thing, just swipe your notifications up, swipe your notifications down on your phone. You'll be fine.
You got some strong fingers, brother.
So yeah, it's yeah. I'm just saying it's not fair. So
Okay, it's good now.
third question: how do you feel about expressing your needs in your relationship?
Oh, these are
What are you
good.
doing to me right now? Are you serious, bro?
These are good.
How do what?
Okay. Anyway, let's continue. How do you feel?
Dan, you really sat down and did this, didn't you?
I did. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. I did the same thing with the procrastination one, guys. I promise you, I probably got so many hate messages after that. How do you feel about expressing your needs in a relationship? I often hesitate, fearing I might be too needy. I prefer to keep my needs to myself to avoid dependency. C, I feel comfortable expressing my needs openly. Or D, I struggle to know what needs are and often feel conflicted about sharing them.
Today I'm a C.
Okay.
Today.
I've never had a problem talking about anything.
Venus?
I start out in every relationship being transparent, full disclosure.
Okay.
And at the same time, though, you got to be very limited to not giving them the blueprint, right?
Right.
Today, I'm gonna see.
Okay. I see all you guys in the chat. I'm not even gonna look at y'all responses. I'm gonna give you guys. There's a reason for this mess.
I'm watching the chat.
I'm a new C though. I was
A lot of us are. A lot of us are. A lot of us. There's a method to my madness, people. I promise you.
that C is a work in progress every day, but I'm a C.
There's a method to my madness, right? I see. If you guys took the test, in the Discord or in my link tree, I promise you, there's a method to my madness. How do you respond to your partner? How do you respond when your partner is upset? A, I worry that I might have done something wrong. B, I feel uncomfortable and try to avoid the situation. C, I offer support to try to understand their feelings. Or D, I might react in unpredictable ways, sometimes wanting to help, but also feeling anxious and overwhelmed.
Ooh, I think. Ooh,
I can't believe
You
I'm.
know what? These are very tricky.
I can't
they
believe-
are.
Even when you know what you know, right? And I say this. There's a difference, a finite difference between thinking something, speaking something, and actually experiencing something. And so even me, with a lot of things that I know, the experience is still going to be somewhat very new. It's still going to be new. So I'll give you the old me because I haven't been in a romantic relationship in a while.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
So I would definitely, there will be two. It'll be like, what the F wrong with you? At the same time, I would sit down and have a conversation just so I can better understand him.
Okay. No, that's understandable.
Yeah.
I'm like whatever the last one was.
I might
Cause I be on fix it mode. Like if something wrong, I'd be like, what do we got to do to make it go away? Like how can we fix it now? Like
Yeah.
Right.
That's me. If you think I'm bad here, right? Could you imagine being in a relationship with me? I'm like, listen.
So for that one, I'm
question is
seeing.
always, what is this about?
but you know what I learned about myself is even me behaving that way, it's like 98% about me though. You know what I mean? Like if you are in a state of being upset, it makes the environment not peaceful. So I have to do whatever it takes to make it peaceful. And that's really more about me than it is about understanding everything that you, I just want, what do we got to do to fix it?
I'm glad that you said that.
You know what I mean? I have, because this is what I learned, because now I'm in therapy. So this is what I learned about myself. I function with the understanding of a lot of things, right? I'm a coach. I move around the world a certain way, but certain compartmentalized parts of my life, I am not that, and a lot of that is like in conflict and different types of things where that trigger, even though it may I may understand it, it's still there. But like everywhere else in my life, I'm good. I'm really good, but there's still some blind spots, and so it's weird because with those blind spots, I will move heaven and earth to pacify it and make it feel soothed. Even if it doesn't even make sense functionally, it may be dysfunctional, but I want it to go away with the fervor. And a lot of times that's that's in conflict or disagreement, and I'm just like, what do we got to do to make it go away? Whatever that is, let's just do that, and we'll worry about the rest later.
So the thing is, right? The reason why I'm asking these questions is because I know the coaches are going to explain the questions, right? I know it's going to come with some explanation. I know they're not just going to answer it rapidly and not give an explanation. So this is working exactly how I want it to work. So for number 5, and this is a good one. How do you feel about commitment in a relationship?
Oh no.
1, I crave it and often heard about it.
Omega.
I thought about all of these, sir. Like, and I got you.
I'm gonna need some natural.
This is the last one though. This is the last question.
I hope so.
How do you feel about commitment? How do you feel about commitment in a relationship? I crave it and often worry about losing it. I find it overwhelming and prefer to keep things casual. I am comfortable with it and see it as natural progression. Or D, I feel conflicted and I want commitment, but also fear being trapped.
I think I'm a C on this one.
I'm gonna see on this one right now. Right now,
This is the last question.
huh?
This is the last question.
That's the last question.
Read the answers again.
Okay. I crave it and often worry about losing it. I find it overwhelming and prefer to keep things casual. I am comfortable with it and see it as natural progression. I feel conflicted and I want commitment, but also fear being trapped.
And there's several of those. If you fit, like if you're like an A, you shouldn't be dating.
I'm glad that Gumbo's catching on to my shenanigans right now.
No, a lot of these things, a lot of these things is the prep before the plan, right? That there are things that you have to do before you even date.
I'm so glad he's catching on to all of my shenanigans right now. Because I was hoping that you guys were catching on to the shenanigans.
I've been all of them.
Of course. The past, I would say the me in the past, I would have been afraid of losing the commitment because of my abandonment issues.
Right.
The me now, and that has been for quite some time, my perspective and what I've gained is that people, places, and things will come to a completion, and that's okay. And so on my journey, I've learned to accept that. So then that would contradict me being, I don't need commitment because I know that the relationship can potentially come to a completion before he and I transition. And that's okay as well. So I no longer need that type of commitment because I no longer have those abandonment issues.
So Adam, if you don't fit, you don't fit.
Yeah, which
Adam,
kind
if you
of
don't fit,
forced
you don't
me in
fit.
a way. It was like, listen, I need commitment. I needed you to be with me. I need you to reassure me because, you know, my father left me. My mother left. You understand what I'm saying? So that was my strong addiction and need for the commitment. However, now I understand what I understand. So it's okay.
Yeah,
So
so here's the language based on this show, and you know where I'm about to go with this, Hormiga. You're not afraid to
That's why
lose
I'm
the
shaking my head.
commitment. You're afraid to lose the attachment. That's why it's so hard.
I'm glad. I'm loving.
And that's a bit of trauma bond.
Just saying.
That's a bit of a trauma bond, right? The attachment of the trauma bond. Pay attention because we're showing you what are the steps that lead that you're not paying attention to. How to differentiate whether you're getting into a connection or an attachment.
Okay, y'all ready for the shenanigans now?
Of course.
Okay. So anybody that mostly said A, you have an anxious attachment style. If anybody mostly picked B, you have an avoidant attachment style. If you picked mostly C, you have a secured attachment style. And you pick mostly D, your attachment style is very disorganized.
It's a good thing. I know what it is, and I don't have to accept that.
You
That
know,
would be that.
but here's a point.
That's one of the perks of being a coach.
Here's a point to ponder though, right? So like for me, I have lived most of my life being very anxious, right? Now functionally I function as a C, but my root programming of being an anxious, I still feel it, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
I'm just in control of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I show up more secure, but I do feel the little tinglies when I get triggered about certain things, or
course.
it's still there. I'm just learning to live with it now.
Just keep in mind, we say this all the time, guys, that you never really get rid of something.
Yeah.
Just learn how to control it and manage it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the key. That's the key to your process. You have to learn how to manage it. You know what I'm saying? It's never gone.
I
never
usually
gone.
like what I find myself doing now. What I find myself doing is I've learned from my experiences, right? I've actually learned from my experiences because I felt trapped before. I felt stuck before. I felt attached before. I felt as though there was
Thank you
no
for the follow.
help. But then you know what this does? What it does is, and I'm going to give an example. Are you the type of person that will not commit to an engagement or even a party or an event because just in case there's something better that might come up on that Saturday night?
Well, we're going to leave that there so she could do a commercial break. Go ahead, babe.
Good morning, everyone. First, I want to say to our coaches, the fact that y'all are being so transparent and showing that you are all human is, I think, what makes part of the Mind Your Mental community so amazing. Is all of our coaches are not afraid to say, I used to be in your position, but now I'm here. And I'm not about to gatekeep everything that I've learned. I'm about to teach you everything that we've learned. So now we're at a point where they're willing to help you get to where they are. So flowers to our coaches, every single one of them. And look at Marmika with the props. Like, I love it. I'm here for it. I didn't know you were going to do that, but I'm here for it. So 10:30 is the usual time where we cut and we do our commercial break. We're going to be opening up the boxes soon if you guys have questions. If you have not joined our Discord yet, hello, my name is T. I am the technical director of the Discord. If you do not know yet, all of these coaches are a part of the Mind Your Mental community. They are all coaches that interact, that hold Q&A sessions, that host lives, that give you the tools to work on your mental health. All of them, including a few others that are not here right now, are all part of our Discord. And that's what makes our Discord so unique. It's one of a kind, as far as I know. In my opinion, it's one of a kind. I have yet to see anything else. All of these coaches have their own niche, and they all have different aspects on different departments of mental health. And the great thing about it is they're all put together in one place for all of you, and that's the Discord. If you have not joined our Discord yet, we have a plethora of people that have joined this Discord and are actively working on themselves. And I have to give them their flowers because we see them showing up every week. We see them showing up to the different events. We see them showing up to talk about their questions or things that they may be confused on. We see them showing up. It's a positive atmosphere where you can go with like-minded people who are willing to work on themselves for the better good. Not spend hours online debating about topics that have absolutely nothing to do with their lives, but actively working on bettering themselves. So if you are not part of the Discord yet and you would like to be, please make sure to let us know. You can visit the bio, and there is an application for the Discord app, which is what you have to download first. That is the first step. Download the Discord app. After you download the Discord app, there is then another section where you will get a link to the Mind Your Mental Discord. You are to take that, copy and paste it into your web browser, and you will get an invitation to the Mind Your Mental Discord. Once you are in the Discord, there's a lot to see. There's a lot to do. We don't want to overwhelm people. So I have curated a Discord tutorial that is exactly formulated to our specific Discord. It tells you what each and every button does in our Discord. There's so much information to absolve, but it's at your pace, and it's a beautiful place to be. So if you have not joined yet and you would like to join, please let us know. We will get you in there, we will get you acclimated, and we will start your journey of being a better you. Also, if you have not picked up the books that all of these mental health coaches have put out, please do so. Emmanuel's holding his, Ormika's holding his. Relationship Gumbo, I know you have some ebooks. Venus has her books as well. Please make sure to pick those books up. The great thing about those books is it starts you on your journey, and then these coaches are here to answer any questions that you have about that journey. Coach Riz in the chat, book to come soon. Coach Tanya in the chat, book to come soon. Nutritional and awareness coaches. Coach Tanya B is our nutritional coach. Coach Riz is our awareness coach. If you're going through transition, Ormiga is your guy. Transition meaning changing jobs, divorce, new relationships, so on and so forth. If you are looking to work on relationships and actually sit down and heal, Relationship Gumbo is your guy. If you're looking for self mastery, Venus is the woman you need to speak to. Coach Manual, self discipline and confidence coach. There is a plethora of information. Please don't disservice yourself anymore by just sitting in, soaking in it. Let's actually actively work on it. That was my best take yet, this commercial yet. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back because I was dropping the gems.
I got you.
I'm
I got
sorry.
you right
Okay,
now. I
I'm
got
going to
you right
shut
now.
up now.
I got you right now. I got you.
I was going to say that.
I thought that was cool. You gotta write that down.
A free Subway sandwich.
Right. So also, guys, as I promised, if you guys are in the Discord, I promised you guys I was gonna release one of my books once it came in the mail. And it came in the mail. Listen, I've been raving about this book forever. Okay? When I'm telling you everything within the content of this book is not only just entertainment, but it is messages in between every chapter. There's messages between every chapter. It's pertaining to family situations, family drama. It's pertaining to your growth. It's pertaining to your process, understanding the level, the complexity of life, and the decisions that you have to make in order to better yourself and be the better version of yourself within your life. There's going to be a lot of decisions being made in this book. So if you want to purchase this book and support, we have it in hardcover, paperback, and in the Kindle version, the ebook version. It's in my link tree. I put it in my link tree for you guys to purchase. Also for this one, for Mind Your Mental, also in my link tree. If you want to start your process of healing, if you want to start holding yourself accountable, hear the words when I say, if you want to start holding yourself accountable, this is the book that you want to grab. Because once you purchase this book is yours. It's yours. So you do the work that you want to do in it, but understand something. If you do set up or one-on-one with me, or we sit down and have a conversation, or you have questions about this book, I need to see notes in the back of the book. You know why? Because I put note pages in the back of the book. So you have no excuses on why you don't put notes in the back of the book. There's no pages for you guys to take notes in the back of the book. So anything that you've learned about yourself, anything you learned within the book, utilize these note pages so that way you yourself can understand exactly what you've learned. And if you don't understand it, you can ask questions and I can give you exactly what it is. But you have to prioritize you. Yes, there's a Kindle version as well of it. Absolutely. I made sure we had all of it. The only one that we don't have is Audible yet. We are working on that. I have a voice actor that actually does ASMR on TikTok that's gonna be doing my my Audible books. So we'll get 2025. I got you guys. Definitely got you guys. But this book right here, I promise you're probably gonna want to fight me after you read it. So just know I got hands. But just to continue, there was a reason why I did this, right? And I'm glad all the coaches caught on to my shenanigans with the questionnaire. Okay, Dr. Anthony White in the building. I see you, brother. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. There's a reason why I did this, right? Because this questionnaire kind of have you self-reflect a little bit on exactly who you are in pertaining to quote unquote attachment style, right? And as Hormiga said, we don't always just fall under one category of attachment styles. We kind of flirt and date other attachment styles in our process, and we don't realize that we're doing it. So there was a reason why I had you guys go take the quiz to see how truthful you were going to answer those questions, right? Because I'm guaranteeing a lot of you did not answer those questions truthfully. quote unquote. I know you're gonna say that you did, but for me, we know how hard it is to be uncomfortable with the truth and telling ourselves the truth. So I know for a fact that everybody didn't answer those questions truthfully, which is why I curated that quiz. So that way to see how truthful you really are in regards to, you know what I'm saying? There's a method to my madness, guys. I promise you. But
I want to give a quick shout to everyone in our Discord, and I noticed a couple people, myself included, there was a lot of was talk. And when I say was talk, and I noticed I identified with Gumbo on a lot of these, I was an A, but now I'm a C. I was a B, but now I'm a C. So I'm proud of the people that are in our Discord that have a lot of was talk, because it shows that you're making progress in your adventure. So shout out to y'all.
If I could add something to that and I hopefully I speak for everyone, and I don't like to do this, but this is one I have to share. It feels good to be able to see that you were an A and now you're a C. And I didn't do that on purpose to rhyme, but it feels damn good when you get to a point when you go, man, I was all that. So don't talk to me about being an empath. I was all those things and more. And there's probably even more categories that he didn't mention because he's keeping it very basic, because it could get deeper than that.
yeah, it can. I was keeping it basic for sure. There was a reason why I kept it basic, because just I think the basic understanding is what's most important right now, right? So that way people can so people can navigate like the basic complexities of what it is. When we go deeper into that, that's where Venus comes into play.
Yeah, and let me say this too, just to give a little bit more context on what happened with this, right? If you guys noticed, even the coaches were up here thinking hard, right? We were trying to figure it. So it's something that when you start asking me, think about how you felt today when the question was asked and when the answers came, and how you were going in your mind trying to figure it out. This is the work, right? This is a little small piece of the work. So if you are not stretching yourself like this towards becoming something greater or behaving in a better way, then you're not doing the work. You got to stretch yourself. And then this community and having access to these coaches help you along the way, so you don't have to do it by yourself. Because imagine the push and pull that we went through today, and then not knowing what to do with the information. Just think about how you felt when the questions was being answered, and then some of us was like, mine don't even fit there, but you had to even go in your mind to realize that you don't fit there. That's the work. Most of us don't do any of this type of stuff in our lives. We just live our lives. But this is how you become a better version of yourself, by stretching yourself, stretching your mind, and going these types of exercises. And so we are here to help you along the way with our different disciplines. And even as the Discord as a whole, we show up and try to get through this thing together as opposed to alone. So that's all I got to say.
That's nice. And I will add real quick, this is why I stress, learn the difference between cognitive and emotional decision making, okay?
Very much so.
When you answer these questions, ask yourself first, where am I? Am I in an emotional state, or am I in a cognitive state? If you're in an emotional state, usually when you're emotional, you answer things too quickly. There's no thinking involved with emotions, right? A cognitive is more about facts, reasoning, and problem-solving skills. You do not have problem-solving skills or any cognitive skills or emotional intelligence if you are in your emotions. Those are going to be two different answers, because one answer is going to be the comfortable answer and the other one's going to be the truth.
Right.
Ouch.
Even in these questions, in their outwardly simplistic view, it was some people in the comments that were triggered just by thinking about these things. It took them back to places in their lives where they were hurt, or where they didn't show up the way that we all did. The ones of us that said I was, we had to think about what we were before we got to that point.
and that
This
was
is how
really the
you,
point.
yeah,
And that was the point. Because people think it's bad to be triggered. It's not bad to be triggered. Because it makes you think. It makes you understand. It makes you feel the things that you should have felt in that process. So if you're overly triggered, I always tell people to take a lap.
yeah,
Okay, take a lap and come back, because we're not here to really hurt you. We're really to have you understand how important it is to not ignore the things that went on in your life. How to not ignore the decisions that you made, even though it wasn't a knowledgeable or educated experience in regards to your decision. It was more emotional than anything. But you still need to understand your decision and your decision making. It's important for all of it. So when I create these questionnaires or these games, it's mainly for you to understand and self-reflect. When I did the procrastination one, it was for you to self-reflect. Everything pertaining to my platform is self-reflection. It's holding yourself accountable. So if you're not self-reflecting, or if I'm not having you self-reflect, I'm not doing my job.
Interesting. Gumbo, you might know this song. There's a song that says, "I used to run to you, now I run from you."
I was about to ask you this question too, but I seen it in the chat.
There's a song that says, "I used to run to you, now I run from you." You see, and I said that to say this. Once you start learning how to solve problems, right? Once you start having this skill, right? This qualitative skill. Once you start learning how to do conflict resolution, right? And you realize that the emotions got in the way of most of these things, right? You're going to want to solve everything.
Right.
You're going to feel like an expert once you solve 2 or 3 problems. Now, all of a sudden, you're on a run. Be careful with that. You will not be able to solve every problem. You're going to think too high of yourself, and that's not realistic. With cognitive thinking also comes the responsibility of being feasible, realistic.
Right.
Here's the thing also, and I kind of said this in the chat. It becomes the point where you decide if you want to be a victim or a victor. And when I say when you want to decide whether you're going to be a victim or a victor, if you sit in that victim mentality and say, I have a detached attachment style, or I have an anxious attachment style, or whatever, and you constantly voice that, you are giving someone the blueprint of how to continue to take advantage of you. And again, I'll give Gumbo his flowers on this, because I've learned many things from this man just listening to him and like really taking it in and having those aha moments. Either you want to sit there and say, I have an anxious attachment style, I have an anxious attachment style, I have an anxious attachment style. Guess what? Again, you are sitting in being a victim. If you want to be a victor, do so. You have to work on these things. Because you sitting in that victim mentality, again, will give people, person after person after person, the blueprint of how to continue to take advantage of you.
yep.
And you don't want that. You want to set the tone. This is how I expect to be treated, because you set the tone of how you want to proceed with the way you live your life.
Yep. Yep.
I'm gonna go on mute now.
I'm proud of you, sweetie. That was actually that actually was not low level right there. That was a little higher than
She's been doing a lot of work on herself, guys. She's been.
Hey, you want to give flowers? I can give flowers too.
I've been seeing that in real time, guys. She's been doing a lot of work on herself.
Well,
we have a lot
with you, so hell.
We do a lot of self-reflecting over here. Okay, whether it hurts or it doesn't, it has to happen, right? And I think the one thing that we fall short on when it comes to relationships is we don't do the self-reflection, right? We try to ignore it. We try to not do it. We try to be codependent on our spouse to always elevate us and not do it for ourselves. And we talk about this a lot, Hormiga, that your individualism in your relationship is important.
Extremely.
You know what I'm saying?
You cannot lose yourself in a relationship because that's supposed to add to the relationship, not diminish.
Supposed to add value.
Absolutely.
Supposed to add value. So that's the one thing that we pride ourselves on within our relationship is to keep tight and hold on our individualism and make sure that thing stays firm and powerful. Because that right there, and people talk about one foundation, the individualism on both ends are two foundations that build one big foundation. That's two huge foundations that build one big foundation within your relationship. And when you just have one, then you have a half of a foundation. It's like a teeter-totter. Why would you want your relationship to keep going like this? And trying to balance yourself on one individualism in a relationship, it doesn't work. Somebody's gonna get either overwhelmed or tired.
Yeah, and that word dependency bothers me a lot because people don't understand that word. Like, there's a difference between dependency and reliability.
Can we let Dr. Anthony up?
Yeah,
Absolutely,
go for it. Yeah. Absolutely.
without a doubt. The whole reliability versus dependency, right? People need to understand the difference between those two things. Creating, like I've always said that one of the most important things in a relationship is the support, right? Who has your back? Do people are in relationships where the person does not have their back? I don't understand how that can be a relationship. How do you relate to someone that does not have your back? What do you think about that, Dr. Anthony? Welcome in.
Thank you all so much. First of all, I am so happy to be here and see all of you. Relationship Gumbo, you are the GOAT. I just want to tell you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
This whole platform is amazing. Now, one of my favorite movies is Runaway Bride with Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. One of my favorite movies. Simply because the premise of the movie is about a woman who's been engaged several times and she leaves her fiance standing at the altar. So Richard Gere, the reporter, goes and he wants to interview all the former fiancés. And as he's interviewing them, he asks them all the same question. How does she like her eggs? And they all said, she likes her eggs the same way I like mine. And then finally he interviews her and he says, how do you like your eggs? And she did not know because she had adjusted her palate to who she was with. Sometimes we find ourselves lost because we adjust our emotional and mental palate with the person that we're with, and we're thinking that's what we're supposed to do in a relationship. You don't lose your taste buds once you kiss somebody else. What was nasty to you before should still be nasty to you now. When you start accepting what you don't like, it will internally make you sick and make you numb to what you love because you accepted the mediocrity of what someone else's love. And it is important that you maintain your identity while someone else maintains their identity, because now you're creating an environment that everyone's excited about. But if you're matching their identity and everything, you become a clone and you're no longer an individual, and the two cannot become one if you're just one big robot. That's all I want to say is that you have to maintain the gift of your identity, because that's what made you attractive. And the reason why you're no longer attractive, and I need to watch my words how I say this, because if you become like them in a relationship, it's nothing more than mental masturbation because you're making them be involved with themselves.
Did you just say mental masturbation?
I heard that too. But I heard this. I heard everything else behind that too, and that was deep.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? Coming from him, I got it. If somebody else would have said that, my mind would have went somewhere else. But because he said it, I let it be what he meant it to be. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. And the thing is, no one wants to be stuck with themselves. That's why they're looking for someone else.
Yep. Yep. I
Well,
always talk about the fear of being seen.
well, then I guess Gumbo, it's time for the stuff that you like, right? Well, and this is because of you're responsible for this, Dr. Anthony.
We about to get a chart.
Yeah, you gotta ask yourself. You gotta ask yourself. You should be asking yourself this before. No, I've been working. I got a lot of writing.
I know you do.
Before you
You need the
start,
big
you should be
screen?
doing this before you start. Before you meet someone, right? Before you date someone, you should be doing this. But it's also okay to do it now. It hurts more if you are in a relationship. Ask yourself this question, and I've done this with Gumbo before. Are you the prequel, meaning Mr. or Mrs. Right now, until the right one comes along? Are you a parent? A lot of supervision and teaching involved. Are you a puppet? Has no individualism and does not function autonomously? Are you a pet? Around just for companionship and the snacks? Are you a provider? One partner does a lot more than the other. Or are you a partner fully invested for equity and will not let you fail alone?
Wow,
Which one are you?
that's good. How many of us buy popcorn for the commercials?
I'm guilty.
Watch this.
I got popcorn in my cabinet.
Watch this. What I mean by buy popcorn, you don't show up for the movie, but you only show up for the prequel. So you're spending all your time and energy just for what's to come, but you miss the main course. And sometimes we spend a lot of energy on the prequels of our life, and we never tap into the feature because we find ourselves so caught up in who they could be, and so we're getting dressed up on for who they should be and our dream person. But when the main feature arrives and you realize it's taking too long to get to the good part, you leave and go find another prequel.
That's funny. You know why? Because I've watched so many movies that when I watch the movie, it seems like I'm watching the same movie because the plot doesn't change, right? The narrative
It's like
doesn't
Christmas
change.
movies. It's like, and as much as I love the Hallmark Christmas movies, the characters may be different, the faces, the script, the words may be different, but the scenarios are all the same. And I sit and I watch them the whole time. I know it's going to be somebody in the beginning that's in a small town that's resistant because either he or she just got hurt, they don't want to be in a relationship no more, and they just want to go and do their business. Then they meet someone that they're enemies and they clash or something. Then they fall in love. Then all of a sudden something's going to happen in the middle where they're going to fall apart for a little bit, but then they're gonna get back together again and be in love, and they're gonna live happily ever after. And most of the time, we'll never get to our happily ever after because we quit right after Once Upon a Time.
Well, is that anything to do with people that watch the preview and think now they know it all just with the preview alone?
Oh, that's people who watch. They'll watch the coming soon clips, and they watch enough coming soon clips that they think they know the whole movie. And the sad thing about that is, once you get into the quote unquote movie, you never see the twist coming.
Actually, that's the part that I enjoy the most. That reminds me of when I watch Law and Order, that you think you know who it is, and then somewhere in the middle, it's not who you think it is. That was a very good analogy. Thank you, Dr. Anthony, for that.
I
What
love
I
that.
want to say to everyone in the chat is I told y'all, those of you that are part of the Discord, I told y'all, I asked y'all. I'm not going to say I told you because that would be me being bossy. I'm a little bit bossy and I will take accountability for that. I asked y'all to keep a notebook nearby to write down your questions to ask. The whole point of us saying these things is not for you to just absorb them for a second, but to write down questions so that you better understand the things that are being said. After 10:30, these boxes are open for you guys to come up and ask your questions. Our recap on Sundays is for you guys to ask questions about the things that you don't understand or you maybe need a little bit more explanation about. So please make sure that you're writing down those questions. Don't be afraid to jump up in the boxes after we do our commercial break and ask those questions. That's what these coaches are here for. They're not just up here to hear themselves talk. They want to understand that you're absorbing that information. And there's no better sign of absorption than when you ask the questions that you're still not sure about or need a little more explanation of. So please, if you want to jump up in the boxes, please don't hesitate. We leave them closed to only the coaches from 9 until 10:30. But after 10:30, as long as it's pertaining to the topic, please come up and ask those questions. It's important that we need to know that you guys understand what you're listening to. And the best way to do that is to ask questions.
One piece of advice that I will give people is when I started my journey, I thought that everyone was going to accept my changes when they happen. I also realized that, and this is very crucial, not everybody's going to support your journey. Not everybody's going to believe you. Not everybody is going to be happy for you. You're going to have some people that are going to be jealous and envious, right? You're going to have some people that just don't align with you. Don't get mad at them. Don't get upset with them. They are where you used to be. Part of a coach is having that empathy and that understanding, right? That we were there one time. How can you not recognize something where you were at? Are you saying that you're better than someone else? No. Everybody's timeline is different. Everybody heals differently. Everybody takes a different amount of time because you don't know how far disattached they are from balance. If you're going to attach yourself to something, you might as well attach yourself to balance because that's a good place to be. Grounded and balance is a good place to be attached. So again, not everyone wants to hear about your epiphanies. Not everybody wants to hear about your revelations. So don't get upset because that's part of the trip also is being able to contain yourself and understanding that not everybody is ready to understand your progress and your journey because who does that belong to? To you.
I think a lot of people need to understand how important all these avenues that we open to you guys in regards to your progress is. Right? At some point in time, especially coming in 2025, what we're doing, you have to run across all of us at least once, maybe twice. There's not going to be a moment where you don't run across one of these coaches in your process. It has to happen. It's important because we all have things within our style of coaching that you are ignoring, that you are choosing not to focus on, that you're choosing to suppress. Okay? You're gonna have to run across us at one point in time. There's no avoiding that. Because if you come to me and you start working on that self-discipline and start working on that confidence, guess what comes with that? Understanding the relationships that you're in, understanding your process of healing, understanding yourself, you got to run into Venus. Being aware, you got to talk to Riz. You know what I'm saying? Understanding your nutritional health, you have to go to Tanya. Transition, you have to go to Hormiga. Because once you go through these processes, I promise you, when you come to me, after you learn all that stuff, I'm gonna teach you how to be disciplined with all the stuff that you've learned. And I'm gonna hold you accountable to stand firm on the things that you learned to apply it to your life. There's not a moment where you're not gonna run across one of those coaches. So if you are a part of the Discord, and I know there's a lot of people in the Discord that are still not really communicating because they don't know where to start. The best way to start is just to communicate. That's it. Just write something in the chat. Good morning. How you doing? How's your day? Simple, right? I guarantee you the responses that you're gonna get is gonna be a plethora of responses. Because the one thing that we've shown people is community is important.
That's so
Community
good.
is important. And we show that in the Discord that community is important. So a simple good morning, a simple how are you doing, it goes a long way. If you even see the chat now, with just us just shooting the shit as we would say, and just bantering, Gumbo putting his pictures of his Halloween stuff, of Halloween costumes. Like we have real times, like if we have real conversations, but we also have fun. We're not just all about the seriousness. Yes, your mental health is important. We know that for a fact, but being human is also just as important as your mental health.
And we make fun of it, and we kind of say that, the group of coaches and mentors that we have on that Discord, it's the mental health Avengers. I'm going to put it out there. Everybody has their specific niche, and it turns it into a 7-day-a-week lifestyle change. It's not just a live from 9 to 12 on a Saturday, or a 7:30 to 8:30 on a Tuesday, or an 8 to 9 on a Thursday. It's 7 days a week. It's a lifestyle change. It's not just talk. It's action.
And here's another tidbit of information. I didn't have one coach. I had a main coach, right? That I built from. But coaches love when you challenge them because it shows that you're using your noodle. You know what I'm saying? We love it. Bring us the smoke, right? Go ahead and listen to other things and tell your coach, hey, the other day I was strolling by, whatever, and I heard this. What do you think about that? Please test your coach. And if your coach is uncomfortable with your questions, then it's time to get another coach.
Shouldn't be coaching. We like you guys to challenge us. Please challenge us because I love the challenge.
A good cook always uses more than one ingredient. It takes more than one ingredient to make something taste delicious. You can't just use salt. You can't just use sugar. And you can't just use pepper. There's a need for the paprika. There's a need for the Italian seasoning, the oregano. There's a need for the mint. There's always a need for different flavorings to make something complete.
Right.
Sounds like a gumbo to me.
I'm just
Absolutely.
saying. Stop
Absolutely.
using. Don't start just use adobo and think that's adobo is gonna be enough.
But
You can't call it
here's the
gumbo
other.
if it's...
Go ahead, I'm sorry, Dr. Anthony.
No, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, you can't call it gumbo if all you have is water and sausage.
Right. But here's the other added benefit to the community that we have. If you come to me with something that I know that is out of my scope, I can route you to one of these other coaches and it not be something that goes unanswered. You know what I mean? So if something falls under Hormiga, I'll say let me submit you over to Hormiga because he is better equipped to handle that. I'm not going to pull myself into something that I don't do just because I want to keep you here, keep you with me. We share. We're great. You know how they always tell little kids that you're not a good sharer. We share here.
Yes.
Sharon is caring over here.
Let's take it back to kindergarten rules, right? We always talk about foundational work, right? And sometimes we have to go back to kindergarten rules, right? Share, play fair, right? No cussing, no horseplaying, take turns, right? Those are all foundational things that we lose. As we get older, we feel as though we're too old or we're too mature.
Not the baby oil. Not the baby oil. No, we're not doing that.
No baby oil? Okay. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, we lose sight and make things more complicated than what they really are. And sometimes all you have to do is go right back to the basics and remember the foundational pieces. And I don't understand why people are too embarrassed, right? or feel as though they frown upon themselves and criticize themselves and talk their way out of not going back to the foundational pieces that got you there in the first place. I'm amazed of how many people are afraid to talk simple language. You know, let's stop making things more complicated than what they are, because there's one thing to be nice and there's another thing to sound nice.
Oh, you mean like the difference between a good guy and a nice guy?
Well, is every crime unethical?
No.
You see, you see how we could touch this all
We
day.
call this a rabbit hole, y'all.
Miss Ducky's in the
Ducky is in the
house.
building.
Miss Ducky.
Miss Ducky, welcome in.
Hello, hello. I hate that they got rid of the mute button on the bottom.
Me too.
Button on the bottom. So my question is more for Venus. I want to know more about the head-heart struggle and how to resolve it.
Interesting. I love that. So when I was speaking about heart and brain coherence, I'm speaking of in terms of whenever you want to attract something, manifest something, become something, right? When you understand energy and frequency, when you understand that your heart is actually a magnetism and your brain, your thoughts is actually the signals that's being sent out to whatever you call infinite source of creation, God concept, the huge Toys R Us. Whenever you are not in alignment, whenever your thoughts and your heart frequency, your feelings, emotions are not in alignment, it is going to cause confliction and confusion, right? So it's always going to be indecisive as to what to actually bring to you or bring that thing to you that you actually want. And so it works is whatever your dominant feeling is, no matter how much you think it, that's what you're going to draw to you. So when you put those two things into alignment, when you're guided on how to do that, then you put yourself in a position to become a master manifester, master attractor. You start putting yourself in position to live the life that you desire. And so one of the main reasons why we are not living the lives that we want to live, while we are deeply depressed, while we're full of anxieties and fears and all of the things that are occurring in our reality, is because there's a misalignment with our heart and brain coherence and frequency. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Sorry. It's the mute button. I can't. It makes sense, but I was wondering if you could expound on the steps that you take to make head and heart coherent.
Okay, I understand that. I understand that. And thank you so much for your question. Respectfully, I won't do that here because that requires an in-depth teaching. And right now, this is not the space for it. So if you're interested, oftentimes I have either master classes or what I have, there's a master program that I have coming up, in which I'm going to be, one of the things I'll be teaching on is how to have brain and heart coherence. So this is not the place for it because it goes in depth. And so I'll respectfully direct you to message me, and then we can move forward there.
I love what Miss Vita said, and because it is so imperative that we understand the identity between the heart and the mind. And here's a phrase that you all have heard me say before on here, that most of us suffer from intellectual and emotional hoarding, where we've collected everyone else's opinions and thoughts about us, and we're holding on to them. And for some reason, we thought we needed things that we collected 20, 30 years ago, and it's cluttering our emotional and mental thought processes. And so I think part of it is letting the unnecessary go.
So if
It
you are
is.
gonna send a request to come up, you gotta at least say something in the comments before we let you up.
Yeah, and I'd like to piggyback on what you said. Venus is 100% right. This is an in-depth assessment needs to take place, right? Because we
Yeah.
have to know where this is coming from. But I will say this. The goal is for the heart and the mind to have a matrimony, right? But the thing is that the heart and the mind is not getting along. It's like two little kids. What do you do when two little kids start fighting? Sorry about that. What do you do when two little kids are fighting, right? You separate them, right?
No.
But that I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but that most of the time that's what we do, right? Sometimes we separate them. Hey, you sit over there, you sit over there. Got to separate the heart and the mind, right? Only to bring them back together. Because right now, being together, they're not relating. So when you force something that's already existing, that's not working, it's never going to work. So you got to kind of separate them. They are two different entities, but they work hand in hand.
The
Right.
question
And
is what's causing the fight? The question is
Right.
what's causing the fight? Because if the heart and the mind are connected, what's coming in between them that's causing the disturbance?
yes. And that's where that's the importance of the process. See, these are quick fixes, and quick fixes will never yield long-term results. And so this is then also a part of the nature of why these lives, monumental lives, in the Discord and communicating is important, because whatever path, whatever destination you want to get to, there's a particular path. And there are certain things that you have to go through, certain steps that you have to embark upon. And that cannot be consumed in a one session thing, a 1 hour, 2 hour, a 3 hour. There's a process in order to be effective. So I could be the type of mentor that says, oh, this is what you do. However, I know that's going to work against you because that's not actually how you do, because you don't understand how your behavior systems are created, right? The inception of these things. You don't have the proper steps. And this is a part of the reason why a lot of us are still in the situations that we don't want to be in, because we looking for resolve. We're looking for this fix. And it's not just do this, right? Because that's not how it works. And in the end, that's going to hurt you more than it helps you. So this is why I said, not because I don't have the answers, I absolutely do. This is just not the time and the place for that. And it's going to require you to invest in yourself if you're serious in learning that process. Now you have to go to the next step. The first step is being aware and acknowledging. One of the other steps is actually, getting into that type of guidance and coaching and mentoring to where you can learn the processes, and then you can start to cultivate them. It makes no sense because you don't keep what you don't cultivate. So what good is it if you gain something and then you don't keep it because you don't understand how to cultivate it?
That part, and that is huge, because in one of the chapters of my book, I have a chapter called Cultivating Emotional Resilience. And I'm telling you, everybody runs from that chapter because people be like, oh, I read the book. I'm like, oh, yeah, you read the book? I said, did you go through the chapter of Cultivating Emotional Resilience? They're like, nah. I didn't do that. Well, yeah, that chapter is important. That's one of the most important chapters of the book, because we all our emotional regulation's off most of the time. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question. Do we all know what dissonance is? This is a very important word. Dissonance, right? Dissonance is lack of harmony. It's lack of harmonious. You understand what I'm saying? So when the heart and the mind do not get along, right? Because remember, the brain comes up with a good idea and the heart will try to convince you it's the worst idea on earth.
Right.
So there's a dissonance. It's a tension or a clash resulting of a combination of unsuitable elements. What's good for your brain may not be good for the heart. What's good for the heart may not be good for the brain. So where do you find a happy medium? I'm only saying this that even if you do go speak to Venus and Venus goes ahead and does the process, right? There are still things that you can do before you speak to Venus, right? And that's understanding that the heart and the heart and the brain are two different organs. They have two different functions, but when they are in harmony, now we're at a place where you can see peace. Now you're at a place where you can see balance, you can see grounding, right? Because it's coming from two different elements. Think about this. If you could get your brain and your heart to work together on the same team, ooh,
That's something special. It becomes a superpower at that point.
it is a superpower. It's a gumbo of skill.
Let me say this too, just to add on, because as coaches we see this all the time, and this will add on to what Venus was saying. A lot of times when we have these areas that we need to work on, and it's probably been in our lives for a long time, there's the how to get to a place where you have more peace in that area or more inner standing in that area. Then there's a process, and when you go through the process without guidance, you could come out on the other side worse. And so this is why what Venus is saying is important, because you could have the steps, but then when you apply, is that me?
We can hear you.
Hold on. I'm getting.
Is there echo?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting like another live coming in for some reason.
TikTok.
I'll just talk and then I'll fix it afterwards. So when you have these processes and the steps that you want, we think in our mind that we can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, while we're still dealing with the issue at the same time. And so when you get the coaching, the coach understands more about how the issue and the process connect to each other to get to the other side. So without that guidance, you could try to apply it and end up, in a place where you don't even know what to do. So that's why it's important for you to get the guidance on the steps instead of just having the steps. Because in practice, and I can only speak for myself, but I speak from a lot of the coaches, we've given out steps ad nauseum, and people keep coming back talking about I don't know what to do. I tried it and it didn't work. So the guidance is important.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna click out and come back.
So think about it as I can Harmony can contest to this as well. Think about in Venus. Think about it as an author writing a book, right? Imagine just having them write one chapter and then one paragraph, chapter 2. Don't give you no understanding or no description of what really they're talking about. It's just one paragraph, chapter 2.
That's what Dr. Anthony was talking about. That you watch the preview and you think now you have the whole movie. That's
Right.
just not enough.
It doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take it step by step, but you gotta get the understanding of everything within that step. Like you gotta really dive into it. The one thing about our process of healing is everybody wants to be quick to heal, but nobody wants to do the work. They want what's at the end of it, but they don't want to do the middle ground. They don't want to go through the middle ground of trying to figure things out. You have to do it all.
Let's ask Miss Ducky. Is anything that was said make you feel a little more comfortable, a little bit a little better idea? Does it help at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. What do we got? We had someone in and they moved out. They didn't get the good connection, right?
Yeah, I don't know what is going on. But guys, you got to make sure you're engaging in the comments before my moderators let you up.
Yeah.
One, this is going on YouTube. The audio itself is going on YouTube, so we can't have any shenanigans going on in the box whatsoever.
Look, Adam says the process is what gives value to the results. Well,
Adam,
we
absolutely.
all talk about, what do we talk about though? The process, right? Believe the process, right? Believe the system, believe the process. And for the most part, they're very similar processes, but the process that you must go through must cater to what your situation is.
Right.
You know, stop calling. You know, it all starts with the way you speak to the words that you allow to come out of your mouth. Because if you're calling something a problem, then you feel like you have to solve it. You understand what I'm saying? So stop calling things problems. How about we start calling these things challenges?
I'm here for it.
Because what do people do when you hear the word problem? They either confront it like the bull, or they run from it like the cow. Are you a bull or you a cow? A cow, right? A cow. So are you a victim? Are you a victor? Are you a warrior or a warrior? You understand what I'm saying? Like the words that you choose to use can help you because believe it or not, you could be hurting yourself by calling something, by its most negative, connotation, if that makes any sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Honestly, it really does. Because I tell you guys this all the time. You have to be intentional about you. Been saying that for the last month or so, that everything pertaining to you, the process of healing, the things that you want in life, you have to be intentional about it. You have to be intentional about it. And if you're intentional about it, you're going to prioritize it. But you have to understand the intent behind of what you want for yourself. Why do you want to heal? Why do you want to heal? Is it for you or is it for somebody else? Why do you want that job that you know what I'm saying, that you're striving for? Is it for you or is it for somebody else? You like the things that we have a tendency to want is never for ourselves. But this is what we're trying to show you guys is if you don't prioritize yourself first, then everything else falls short. Think about the people that rely on you, your kids. You know what I'm saying? Your family, if your situation is that dynamic. You know what I'm saying? The people that rely on you. How can you expect them to really rely on you the way that, or you to be there for them the way that you want to be there for them if you're not going to be for yourself first, or be the better version for yourself first? You have to be the better version of yourself first in order to help anybody around you, or you're going to keep overwhelming yourself. You're going to keep stressing yourself out. You're going to keep draining yourself. That pitcher that sits standing firm that you have are going to start poking holes. It's going to have holes in them, and it's never going to fill.
Yeah,
It will never fill.
I would tell you this much, and here's an analogy. Who's stronger, the person that knows 10 things and does one, or the person that knows 2 things and does both?
Definitely the person that does 2 things and does both.
So in other words, it's not what you know, it's what you apply, right? Because you could be filled with infinite knowledge, right? I know people that are super knowledgeable. I don't want to say intelligent. They're knowledgeable, right? Because how could I call someone intelligent if they're not applying their knowledge, right? That's just me. So the people that are very knowledgeable, but they're not doing anything with it.
And think about it this way, right? We got people in the world, right? No judgment, that be like, but I want to help everybody, but I want to do this for everybody, and no matter what, I'm always going to put myself first to do this for everybody and do that for everybody, right? It sounds good up until they're home by themselves and they realize they're drained, or they're tired, or they don't have anything left for themselves throughout the day because they put themselves in every single situation to help somebody else. The next thing you know, they're drained. They can't do nothing for themselves. Their energy is low. Their vibration is low. Their frequency is low. There's a reason why we say putting self first is important.
And here's another tip too. That whole fake it till you make it. Don't play with people that have done the work. Don't play with people that have done the work because they can feel you. They're listening to your tone of voice. They're looking at your body language. They're looking at your eyes. They're paying attention. Don't play games with people that have done the work. That's not conducive because what you're doing is pushing somebody away by being phony. Be transparent about where you at. Do not fake it till you make it when it comes to your mental health. Don't fake anything.
I had somebody recently message me talking about they're tired. Now this is the same person that's been on the Book of Faces, ranting and raving. every so often, every hour or so, they have a post about ranting and raving or something, right? And then I messaged her. I was like, so you don't have to do none of that stuff, right? She's like, I'm just tired. I said, I get it. I've been there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've been there. I know what it looks like, where you feel like you have to defend yourself every so often from everybody, and you're looking for validation without realizing you're looking for validation.
Damn, and that's the misconception that people have too. It takes more energy to be phony than to be authentic. We
Right.
keep saying this every Saturday. It takes more energy to be fake or phony or somebody else than to be your genuine self. People feel as though it takes more energy to be themselves because they are so far from themselves that they see the road back to where they're supposed to be. You understand what I'm saying? So it is harder to get back to where you were at, especially if you've gotten so far away from yourself.
Listen, and that's where Venus comes into play, because understanding yourself and understanding yourself is important. That way you don't fall short. That way you don't fall to the habits of, here we go with the word habits, to fall in the habits of wanting validation from others. When you come into that when you walk into, imagine having to look for validation every single time from others. You don't feel confident in yourself.
That's low self-esteem and no self-reliance.
Right. No self-esteem. You have low self-esteem. You have low self-worth. You're looking for these validation. You're looking for these signs that everybody sees what you're doing or acknowledging what you're doing. That's tiring. And that gets very tiring. It's very draining on the mental. It's draining on the spiritual. Draining on the physical. It's draining on your emotional, your intellectual. It's draining all the way through. It really is. So when you step into that role and you start taking her master classes, just understand something. You have to be ready.
Well, hold on. Let me just
I'm just saying, because I'm not ready yet. I'm still trying to figure myself out because I'm scared to go to those past classes.
Here's the thing. It's yes, what I would like is what I prefer is that when it comes to you being ready, yes, that is absolutely important. And I say that because there's certain things that I say, and many of you who support me have heard these things. What you consume, you become. And I go into detail and elaborate on those things. Everything you consume helps to shape your reality. It helps form your reality. It helps to attract certain people, places, and things. There's another thing that I say that is absolutely imperative, and I will continually repeat this. As living organisms, most of us understand that if we took biology class, we are living organisms. And as living organisms, if you are not expanding, growing, accelerating, evolving, you are devolving and you are destructing. It doesn't matter if you like that or not. It doesn't matter if you understand, overstand, understand that or not. No one can violate universal principles and laws, especially when it comes to cause and effect. So the question I always ask is, yes, do you want it or don't you? Because there are no such things as excuses, rhymes, or reasons when it comes to you wanting something. You either want to live, want to thrive, want to live the life that you know you deserve to live, no matter what it is. Fancy houses, cars, peace, clarity, security. It don't matter what it is. You can have it. You can experience that. Your decision is going to determine the you are, the you become. So, Emmanuel, yes, yeah, you're absolutely right. It would not benefit you, and I will not serve you if you are not clear on, you know what, I'm ready to take that first step, because it's one step after the other. Because I'm not going to play with you, and you're not going to play with me. Because there's people out here who is truly hurting, who truly is willing to take that step. Whether they got $1 to invest, their energy to invest, or $1,000 to invest. Right? So the question to you is, how bad do you want it?
Desire. We talked about this. You cannot coach the uncoachable. Now, do not take that word for granted, uncoachable, because once people hear that, it's not that we think less of you.
Absolutely.
What we're saying is you have to have some type of desire in order to get results. Because if you go into something half-assed, you're going to get half-assed results, for lack of a better term.
You gotta you gotta understand, and you gotta realize that in order to grow, you have to be uncomfortable.
Correct.
You have to be uncomfortable. You gotta prepare yourself to be uncomfortable. There's no, all right, okay. Just swipe your screen and swipe back up for the echoes, because I know it's been having a lot of, just if you're echoing, just swipe your notification down and swipe it back up. It'll fix it. That's a simple fix for that. You have to be uncomfortable. You got to prepare yourself for that, because a lot of the stuff that's gonna surface, it's gonna hurt. We're not gonna act like it's not gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. It's not an easy process. Nothing about healing, nothing about going through your process is easy. You're gonna have moments where you feel like you need to isolate. You're gonna have moments where you feel like you want to just stop doing it altogether. You're gonna have those moments. Regardless of how motivated you are to heal, when those things hit you, they hit you like a ton of bricks. They hit you like a ton of bricks. It's not something that, there's not no pillow that's hitting you. No, it hits you like bricks. It hurts a lot, but it's growth. It's growth. Because at some point in time, when people start throwing them bricks at you, you're going to be able to dodge them.
But hold up. You're going through your whole life expressing pain. You're going through your whole life expressing discomfort, and you're mad at this and you're mad at that. So now you can't take pain for a good reason? Ooh.
I think that also goes back to what Armika said earlier. There's content creators and there's content influencers. If you're a content creator, you can easily mimic what anyone is saying and just come up with your own content, right? If you're an influencer, it's because you've put in the work and you're showing people how to put in that work.
Absolutely.
You're not gatekeeping the information. You're showing people how to do it. So they can go from content creator, which might be essentially faking the funk, to being an influencer who actually knows what they're talking about and is helping you to achieve that same goal.
So ask yourself this question, too, because I've been asking a lot of people this question. How many times are you going to keep running into these walls? How many times are you going to keep running into these walls? Like, really ask yourself that question. How many times are you willing to keep running into these walls? And there's no progress. None whatsoever. But you keep running into these walls. You're not breaking through the walls. You're just running into them.
Well, first and foremost, you need to recognize if the wall that's in front of you, was it you that put that wall there in the first place? Because we're quick to blame, right? We're quick to point fingers at, I can't do that because of this. Okay, that bias that you have in your head, that unharmonious thought that you have between your heart and your mind. Here we go again, Ms. Duffy. When you don't have the heart and the mind, right, together, when they're not working in harmony, that's a conflict. And that conflict that you have has to be resolved before you either Climb over the wall, go under the wall, go through the wall, or just remove the wall, or create a door. We talked about that red door, right? We talked about that door that you have to go through. That door you keep dreaming about, that you keep fantasizing about. Like, I can't wait to be at the power or the strength or the understanding for me to go through this door. The door's there waiting for you.
It is. It is. And I tell you guys all the time, when you open that door, you can't close it.
It's over.
You can't close it. So if you're not ready for that door, if you're not ready to open that door, don't open that door just yet. Get the guidance that you need first. Get the tips and the tools that you need first. Navigate with all the coaches first. You know what I'm saying? See what they can help you, what they can provide you first, before you be like, I'm ready for that red door. Because that red, you know what that red door is? Below the surface stuff that we've been hiding, that we've been packing and packing and packing and closing that door and packing, closing that door and packing. Because when I'm telling you it's gonna open, it's kind of like a storage room that's just cluttered, full of just a whole bunch of stuff that we decided that we just wasn't gonna work on, or we just didn't understand how to navigate it. That's behind that door.
And a lot of that
Everybody.
stuff, real quick, a lot of that stuff is your subconscious, so don't get tricked out of that.
Yeah.
I was just
we
going
are-
to say, so
Sorry, Becky, bad.
I was just going to say, is it like the closet that everybody has in their house where you open the door and everything falls out?
Yep.
That part.
Exactly.
Y'all, we are rounding our last 10 minutes of the live. So I'm just going to quickly say, if you have not joined our Discord yet and you would like more information, again, mental health is a 7-day-a-week lifestyle change, not just a 3-hour live or a 1-hour live or whatever the case may be. 1 day a week. It's 7 days a week. So again,
Not your motivational.
7 days a week, lifestyle change. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, now's your chance. If you need help getting in, hi, I'm your person to go to. I am the technical director of the Discord. I would be more than happy to help get you in. It is a place of everyone being on the same page, wanting change for themselves. Not blaming it on others, but taking accountability for it yourself and wanting to make that change.
Absolutely. All right, Tanya, I got you.
Welcome in, motivation. How are you?
Yeah, take the floor, motivational.
I'm doing pretty good. First of all, shout out to the host, shout out to everyone on the panel.
Thank you.
Soon as you said the door thing, actually, I created the message around that. Well, I spoke of the door that we never go through to get to the better life. And a lot of times what people don't understand is there's what fear was meant for and there's what fear became. We've allowed fear to sort of put a boundary around us and keep us from pushing ourselves farther past the things that we're comfortable in. So we keep ourselves from growing. So we keep ourselves from improving. We keep ourselves from evolving and becoming the better version that we can become, whether that is with our mental health, our physical health, whether that is with our spiritual aspect of who we are, as well as pressing past the financial boundaries that we think we have on our life. A lot of people think they cannot make above a certain amount of money because they've already created this false narrative in their mind of how much money they can make, and that's it.
Right.
And I always try to explain to people that's an absolute lie. Now, that might mean you might have to retool yourself. That might mean you might have to go in your toolbox and get some new tools. You might have to learn some new skill sets. You might have to see what skills are valuable in the marketplace that would make you more valuable, so then you can be able to earn more potentially. But you can always have the ability to earn more money. But back to the door story real quickly, I'm saying fear is telling you don't go through that door. If you go through that door, man, it's going to be scary. It's going to be things that you've never experienced before. And fear is right about that. You will experience new things that will force you to stretch and grow and adapt and evolve and become better, faster, smarter, and more equipped for the next level. Because the reality is, what got you to the last level will not get you to the next level. There's always an upgrade process you have to go through to prepare yourself to handle the next level and then level up from that stage. I'm gonna land my plane with that.
But no, you are right on the ball, and that's the most important part right there is the growth that you experience, right? Is always the next level. It's always the next stage. You have to grow. Nothing stays the same when you grow. You see the whole world differently. The more you grow, you start seeing the world differently. You start seeing things differently. You start seeing people differently. So, motivation, I like that.
Well, look, one of the most important things that you get to see that you couldn't see before, and we talk about these two words, fluffy and what else?
Greasy.
The greasy stuff and the fluffy stuff. You have to start recognizing the things that are irrelevant to your progress.
Right.
And that's when you start saying, damn, I'm carrying all this unnecessary stuff in my life, thinking that there's some type of value to it. Right? And then all along, you realize that you are the one who's slowing yourself down.
Well, and I think that the reason people have so much fear, it all comes down to the fear of the unknown. If I do this, what's going to happen? If I say this to a person, what's going to happen? It's always the fear of the response or the outcome.
So the one thing that I do say is I had a conversation with somebody recently about that what if, right? You can't worry about the what if you haven't attempted to do anything yet. If you haven't even attempted to process or go through that process, the what if don't matter. And if you've already drove through it and you're worried about the consequences after the fact, the what if don't matter. Because you've already done it. And you've already seen or you already put yourself in the process of trying to get this accomplished. So the what if don't matter. Now you got to realize what's to come. Not the what if. Because the what if is maybe if I, or have I, or you know what I'm saying? You can't worry about that stuff. Because then you're gonna start questioning a lot of things in life.
It's a rabbit hole. It's a potential rabbit hole.
The anxiety of those what ifs will literally, the answer could surprise you. You could say what if, and build yourself up so much anxiety, and it could be nothing that you even thought it was.
Yep.
It could be the complete opposite of what you thought it was. It could be that growth. It could be that next step. It could be all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let your anxiety get the best of you by not trying. Because you don't know unless you do try.
The what if don't matter.
I know Tanya wants to speak before we get out of here. We got about 3 minutes left. I want to make sure she gets
Go for
her sense in.
Yeah, go
I
for
just
it.
want to say once you try, the anxiety goes away. It resolves itself in that moment. Once you try, once you release it, it feels like a weight is lifted off of your shoulders. So that's the best you can do with anything. Once you let it go, the anxiety will definitely go away.
This is what I try to explain to people. Anxiety is a vibration. And it's a vibration of you doing nothing.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's also a chemical. So when you understand these things, anxiety, depression, energy, like all of these things, like in the beginning, I mentioned when there's a difference between thinking something, speaking something, and then being something. Gaining a deeper understanding of these things will help you in so many ways, right? So when the surface level, we're taught that anxiety is, it's an emotion, like we're so attached to the feelings, but when you understand how it's also a chemical and what's happening in your body as to why you're experiencing those things, it helps you to regulate them. But when you never gain an understanding of what they are, like these are actually chemicals, These are actually neural circuits that are firing. You will never be able to manage them, right? So this is why they keep recurring. And then we get to a point, it's like, yep, that's me. That's me. That's me. I'm anxiety. I'm this. I'm this. I'm this. And don't even know that you're really hexing yourself. Right. So the importance of these things that we're teaching you and sharing with you, they're imperative, especially if you want things to change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree wholeheartedly. I really do. Congratulations, Mud. Mud said that he's taking his driver's test on November 1st, thanks to me. Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, the people that are still here, real quick, the people that are in the chat, if you feel as though this conversation was beneficial or it was valuable or something happened or clicked, just say yes. Put the word yes in the chat. I'm gonna do it myself because I'm not just here to talk. We're not just here to talk. We're here to learn too. We're here to share. We're here to create a energy level where we can all learn from each other. You know. So I'm going to put it in. I'm going to say yes.
And if you're not a part of the Discord and you want to join the Discord, please drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat if you want to join the Discord. Drop a 2 in the chat if you're already a part of the Discord.
I'm a part of it. Yeah, you see, the interaction is important because we want to know that people are paying attention. Because I know that even some people are cooking, some people are working, right? Some people are driving, some people are doing a lot of things, but they're still putting an ear to what's going on. You know, that's okay too. It's better that you actually are a part of this than to be in a lot of these TikTok streets, right? I'm just going to let you know that.
All right, so for anybody that put a 1 in the chat, if you guys go to my profile, right? I'm not going to say the other word because TikTok, they do these things. But if you go to my profile and hit my link tree, I have everything sectioned out the way that it's supposed to. You're going to download the Discord app first, right? I have the link to the Discord app that creates a link for all of the platform, all of the devices. So you pick the device that you have, and you download the app. Once you download the app, you create your profile, right?
Look at you. And you tell, they call, hey, China. They told Kenya we sunned her.
I told her. He said, oh, you the what?
Danya.
Yeah.
You guys can hear me? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I got a house full of people. I'm sorry.
Sunning people over there.
We over here sunning folks like.
My kids are here, and it's too early. My kids are here. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
That's a term we know. E, right?
Very well. He's out here sunning folks.
She said, Sonia and Kenya. I said, uh-oh.
I said, somebody in trouble. But no, so if you guys go to my link tree, download the Discord app, and then right below the app, the link to the app, I have a link to the community. So copy that link. You have to copy the link and attach it to your web browser. Okay? Do not just try to click on it. It is not going to work. Copy and attach it to your web browser. I need to put that somewhere in there. So that way you guys know. Copy it to you have the Discord? Okay, cool. So copy the link that's in my link tree to your web browser, and then it'll invite you to the Discord. And then we'll take care of you once we get in there. Because we also have a tutorial video that's dedicated to our Discord that Sweet Tea has created, and she worked very hard on. So if you have a chance, once you join the Discord, make sure you guys watch the tutorial video through and through.
It is curated specifically for our Discord. Not just how to use the Discord app, but specifically to our Discord. It tells you what every single button does. I am a visual learner. I made sure that I made it as visually pleasing and positive as possible.
Yes, and she did an amazing
Hours.
Amazing job on that. And
literally hours.
If you go through the YouTube video, I have time coded the whole video. The whole video time coded. So from section to section. So there's not a piece that you can miss in regards to it. Okay. So Dr. Anthony, if you can message me after this, I gotta send you my new number anyway. So just message me after this, and I'll take care of you. I got Dr. Anthony. But motivation, since you have the Discord app, just copy the link and put it in your browser. You'll be good to go.
Also, if you guys have missed out on this live, because we are now wrapping up, if you have missed out on most of the live, this live audio is available on YouTube. Well, will be available on YouTube for everyone to go back and listen. And I strongly encourage, I'm going to say that again, and I want everybody to open their little ear holes. I strongly encourage you to think about what we talked about today and write down your questions, because we will be having a recap on the Discord tomorrow to discuss what we talked about on this live. I would love nothing more than for you to bring notes and ask questions and get the answers that you are looking for. So again, like I said before, I strongly advise you to make sure that you come with the questions that you have about this live. The schedule for this live is every Saturday from 9 to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The live recap happens at 12 p.m. on Saturdays. Am I right? 12? Sundays. The recap happens on Sundays at 12 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Please come prepared. Ask questions. We want to be able to answer your questions. We'd rather you know the answers than assume the answers.
Absolutely.
Because we all know what happens when we assume.
And I'm going to hold a few people accountable. If you're a part of the Discord and I haven't seen you in the chat engaging, please start engaging. Because one of the things I pride is protectiveness of the people in the Discord. So if you're not engaging, I'm going to assume that you're just sitting there to just sit there and you're not really learning anything. And I will be doing a cleanup of the Discord if you're not engaging in the Discord, whether it's in the general chat or asking questions or whatever the case may be. I pride keeping that Discord very protective for the people that actually want to work on themselves and be the better version of themselves. And I'm gonna do that in real time. So that's one of the most important things to me, is making sure everybody's safe and protected within that Discord, because you guys are trusting us to keep you safe with the information that you provide us and the things that you share within the Discord. So if I see you inactive within the Discord, it's going to be a cleanup very soon. So try to be active in there. You know what I'm saying? Try to be active in there as best as you can anyway. At least say hello. It's as simple as saying hello. At least we know that you're there. You know what I'm saying? But there's been a lot of inactivity, so I gotta do a cleanup. I do gotta do a cleanup, and it's nothing against anybody. It's nothing like anything personal, but it's more so to protect the people that are in the Discord, the coaches and the community together. So nothing against anybody that's not inactive, but if you can, please be active. Please do so. So I'm gonna give the coaches their time to do their closing, and then we'll get out of here. Get everybody out here. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, homie. Start it off.
All right. Thank you all for coming. It's always a pleasure to be here, to be with like-minded individuals so we can reach a consensus. My only thing that I'm going to say is be like the eagle, right? The eagle is the type that does not mess around with the little birds that keep pestering them, right? They can hang out in every single circle. Fly high. The eagle is the bird that can fly the highest out of the actual atmosphere, and they always can look down and know when to come down and when to stay up high. Fly high like the eagle. That's it.
Yeah, Venus, go for it.
Peace again, my loves. For those of you who are new to me, I am Venus. I'm a self-mastery mentor. My area in studies is in helping you to master self so you can master your reality, with a core focus in teaching you the principles and practices and how to attract or manifest what and who you desire. And some of the ways I do that is by teaching you the principles of attraction and manifesting, identity reconstruction, brain and heart coherence, cognitive programming, reprogramming, which is one of the most crucial steps, especially when it comes to the pre, during, and post processes of you beginning your journey and you cultivating your journey, and the importance of energy alignment and cultivating that, creating the blueprint. And I am honored to be a part of the monumental, phenomenal team of experienced and qualified mentors and coaches. So it's awesome to be a part of you all's lives.
Likewise. Likewise. It's always love. Always love. Go ahead, Coach Tanya. Go for it.
Good morning again, everyone. I'm Coach Tanya B. I'm creator of Wellness Elevated on Purpose. My focus is helping you level up your nutritional health and wellness mindset. My skill set with this part of your mental health, I focus on personalized meal planning, education and behavioral support, and goal setting when it comes to eating healthy. If your body is healthy, your mind will fall in line. You can find me on your Mind Your Mental Discord, and I'm here to help.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. And she's the bully of the Discord, by the way. No, I'm joking. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. She's not the bully of the Discord, but she will hold you accountable when it comes to the snacks. I'm just saying. Don't post no snacks in there and think that she's not watching. She's watching. I promise you. Just saying. Just saying. Go ahead, babe.
As I stated before, I am the technical director of the Monumental Discord, handling everything on the back end, making sure that people can get in, keeping the Discord at its capacity, and making sure that everyone is abiding by keeping the Discord a safe place, scheduling everything within the Discord, making sure everything runs smoothly. I'm also tapping into a couple of things that are on the horizon. I told all of our friends in the Discord, and they will tell you right now, I've mentioned the word homework this past week. That will be revealed tomorrow. I know y'all don't like the word homework, but it's gonna happen. It's coming. It's not a negative thing. It's a positive thing. It's going to I don't want to say force, but it's going to highly suggest that you take everything that you've learned thus far in the Discord and put it into practice. So tomorrow that will be discussed. I encourage everyone to be there. I will be making sure to share this with everyone. I don't want to just be the back end technical director. I want to be able to play my part in adding a little bit to the Discord, not being a coach, but being a present person that's also working on themselves. So I'm using my brain power to make sure that I push everyone to do that little bit. Again, if you missed out on any of this live, the YouTube audio will be available very soon. We want to make sure that everybody has questions. If you're coming to the recap tomorrow, again, please make sure to come prepared. And I know, like I said before, I know y'all don't like homework, but I promise my intentions are ever so pure when I created what I created. So it's putting what you've learned into practice.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna hold just to give you a better understanding of what she's about to do. She's gonna hold you accountable. Simple. It's just to put it in simple terms. You're being held accountable to be accountable for your process of healing. Ooh, that was a good wordplay. She's gonna hold you accountable for being accountable for your process of healing.
And you can count on that.
And you can count on that. Go ahead, Gumbo.
Hey, this was good. They're all good though. I hate to say this was good because they're all good. So that means you got to come back next week too. Thank you guys for hanging out with us this morning. And my name is Coach Derek. I am your certified healing journey coach and relationship coach. And what I do is I help you, mainly adults over 30, basically people who've been through some things in their lives, help you heal from relationship trauma and to be able to understand how the inner child is working either with you or against you, and to get you to a better space in your life so that when you do show up in your dating and or relationship lives, you show up better and you're a better partner for not just yourself, but the person that you choose as well. So that's all I have.
I appreciate that, brother, man. And listen, you do amazing work. So your engineer mind is what kind of helped a lot of the newer processes of the Discord. So we appreciate you wholeheartedly. Ms. Ducky, go for it.
I just want to thank everybody for the information that you've shared. It's every time I'm in here, I learn so much. You guys are amazing. That's all.
Thank you. Motivational? Go for it, brother, man.
I just want to say, man, it was an amazing live, first of all. Second of all, man, you guys have really, and I know what you guys were speaking was absolute truth. Like I said, I'm a motivational speaker, teacher, and a personal development coach. My goal is to, can you apologize for the background? This is my other side hustle. I have a cleaning company. My goal is to help people develop and improve the specific areas of their life that they say they want to improve in. So, I always explain it is a process. It takes hard work. It's hard work where I can give you the blueprint, but you're gonna have to do the work daily. Now, I'm gonna come along, encourage you, uplift you, remind you, sometimes tough love, sometimes just very warm, comforting love, but either way, I'm like, listen, it's work we have to do. If we're gonna get where we say we wanna be, it's up to us, and someone else cannot do it for us. I'm gonna land my plane with that.
Appreciate you, brother, man. And you guys, I am your self-discipline and confidence coach. My job and my goal for you is to have you understand and embody all the information that you've gathered in your process of healing to help you and assist you with creating the boundaries that's needed for your discipline and for you to stand firm in the things that you've learned in your process of healing. I'm gonna help you navigate we all have different boundaries for different people. So I'm gonna help you navigate those boundaries and apply them in the right places. I'm gonna give you the confidence to move around with a smile on your face, showing that light that sheds perfectly on your skin when you become the better version of yourself. And nobody's gonna be able to stop you from doing so. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. You guys were truly amazing. We had 33.7K likes. We had about 2,100 people that came through this live. So think about it this way. We had 2,100 people that came in and got some information, whether they stayed or didn't stay.
And the reason why we didn't push the likes that much is because we've realized in the last week that TikTok has been having an issue with likes. So with that being in mind, our typical goal is 50 or more. But at this point, we understand that that's not in our control. So we let it be what it was. But the fact that you guys kept engaging in the chat let us know that you were here, you were listening, you were paying attention, you were interacting. So we appreciate every single one of y'all. Again, 9 to 12 Eastern Standard Time every Saturday. Catch us here. We're here to give you all of the tips you need. It is an informational live. It's not a debate, because mental health shouldn't be. So make sure to join us.
Absolutely. And I just want you guys to understand too, and state your intentions, manifest your intentions, understand your intentions, embrace your intentions. Embrace being a better version of yourself. Be okay with being uncomfortable, because that's the only way that you're gonna grow. Do not be afraid of the unknown. Let the unknown be afraid of you. In a world full of negativity, choose love and love on purpose. Keep life simple. Love is the glue. Respect is the flavor. You dig, you dig, you dig. Make sure y'all live within your value energy. And I pity the fool who doesn't mind their mental. Peace.
Now we can eat.
Now we can eat.